Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have it in. Some more. Let's get some more.
Why, hello, and welcome to my Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. We are happy to have every single one of you with us tonight, which it looks like an extreme amount of people. Hey, and we just might have gotten someone in. Well, we're going to go on with a little bit here because we have 2 seconds. Sorry. Hey, Heather, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you guys?
Doing great. It looks like you're setting up the kitchen.
I am running a little behind, but I think I got it.
It's okay. We need like 2 seconds because we need to do a giveaway real quick of some Old Crow before we forget after having all these great cocktails. So I'm going back in the chat. Everyone, give me a quick hi for being out there, and I will write it down. And then in a couple minutes, I will do the giveaway on that. So thank you, Heather, for being with us this evening. We are totally excited about everything we have here. And some of you actually out there have this lovely kit as well, too, and are going to be tasting and drinking stuff with us.
Well, I'm happy to be here, so thanks for having me.
Now, one of the other things I really liked about the inside of this is your little pamphlet about you have a little scan where you can actually do a tasting with you, which I think is awesome. Right?
Did you watch it? It's horrifying.
No,
need to talk to you about your salesmanship, Heather.
Yeah, it's horrifying. I'm blushing right now thinking of it. But it was a great way to get our spirits out when in a pandemic you can't taste in any liquor stores, and we don't have a cocktail room. So it was part of our adjustment to try to still grow the brand, but like safely for everybody.
Oh, and I really like it because it gives you a chance to try a lot of different things from a company, and I don't know, you get a chance to do that. Otherwise, you're spending like a few $100s really quickly.
Right.
So I love a chance to see what people have. So what we were thinking of starting with the old fashioned, but is there something you would prefer to start with?
Well, that is a really gregarious way to start because then you're just going to the money pot right away and you're not even earning the journey. So put your big boy panties on and let's start with the goddamn vodka.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Did you guys want to make a cocktail first?
No, if we're just doing
I'm afraid to answer.
Yeah.
This is going smoothly. This is how I like it. I'm in control.
Yeah, I'm frankly kind of nervous, but that's okay.
No, well, I mean, so there's a progression. There's a reason. Like even in my head, and my inventory guy was like, "Tell me why you always list it in this order." When I asked him for, let's do a cases on hand inventory report. And I have this very predictable journey in my head, and I go that it's by palette, right? So it starts very soft, and then we end, we go a little more bolder, and then we end on like this beautiful, silky, like yummy, ready to pour. So it's kind of like this journey that doesn't burn out the palate, and so it allows you to appreciate each SKU, each product as you go through it. He said that's how he rates his family members. I thought that was pretty funny.
I like that. And yes, Kevin, I was putting my place right out of the gate. See?
Yeah, I've already had a martini, guys, and so much sushi it would fill a boat. So I'm ready to party.
All right. Let's get it started.
Yeah, we already had like a little date night. So if you hear dogs crashing through, Rhett said he'd do his best to try to mitigate that. So we are starting with the Low Grand. Low Grand is French for big water. And that is the name of Lake Minnetonka here in Minnesota. I this was probably the third or second product that I made. Not the first non-bourbon that I made. I wanted to do some sort of aging, but I didn't want to do it to gin, and probably not super educated at the time to understand why I didn't want to do it with gin, but I just didn't like barrel-aged gin. And what I realized is that of the barrel-aged gins that I had, I didn't like them because the ones that I had tried, they didn't have the right botanical set that complemented that vanilla and the aging that the wood would do on the spirit. So it always seemed like it was fighting and more marketing, and I'd only had a couple at that time. So I thought I would do a vodka because vodka is super neutral and it's almost like an educational piece. It shows you what wood does to a spirit, and it's with 0 bite and completely smooth. It's at 90 proof. Probably one of the products that will discontinue because vodka drinkers are not known for their exploratory manners. They love, and even I always do a Kettle One. That's how we made our regular vodka. I go, let's just make it like how I love it. So then I get to drink at cost, and the airline wanted it. So that's what we made. In the market, people get freaked out about a brown vodka, but to me, like I've made at my house, I've really converted a lot of people in putting this in an old fashioned, because then they get to enjoy it, or even a Moscow Mule, and they get to understand the complexity and the beauty, because not all whiskey has to hurt. And so I think a lot of people that never liked whiskey had maybe really bad, like a lot of people had gin, really bad first experiences. So it's trying to it's my weaning drug over to the brown side, but also educates the beauty of what wood can do to a spirit. And it's in French oak. That's why it's low grand, which is French, because I am in love with French oak. What it does to a spirit and to wine is absolutely beautiful. It gives it a viscosity unlike American oak. I did a ton of tests with this, of 10 versions of different char levels of American oak and French oak, and hands down, French oak was the winner, just of the mouthfeel and the complexity of the profile, whereas the American oak was just, it was just less.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of char level did you go with on this?
As dark as we could go, because I like bigger, bolder profiles. So we went full char on it. And then this is a lighter bottle because I pulled from just my household inventory. But I mean, it's sitting in the wood for right now around 2 years.
Okay.
I mean, right off the nose, because we've been having them lately, it smells like a couple light whiskeys we've had, where it's just interesting.
Right.
I get a little bit of the caramel note, like a light whiskey, because that was kind of the first thing I thought of. But that French oak just really leaps right out right after that, and I'm kind of with you, Heather. I love French oak and what it does to a spirit. So.
And then we use a winter wheat, which is your quality grains, rye, winter wheat. I wanted to go with something nicer, not just your corn vodka, because it would always also just play a little off that sweeter level with the barrel.
Wow.
So
this is why I wanted to try this, was just what you were saying, was to be able to taste the influence. And this is a perfect way for people to be able to taste French oak if you can't do it beforehand, to be able to start identifying it in the whiskey that you're drinking.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah, it is truly a neutral vehicle to identify and process those flavor profiles. It's vodka with soul is what I'll call it, because it just has that oomph to it. So Moscow Mule or French 75. I'm always and you'll see with the drinks. Are we making the drinks tonight, or did we just? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a whole half a table full of stuff over here. So
Excellent. Yeah, I busted out my my roller table for tonight. Look at that.
All right.
Professional.
yeah, that just looks like a fun evening if you're stopping over at someone's house and that's all like that. It's like, whoa.
I like this vodka a lot. That's got a really nice flavor to it, and the mouthfeel reminds me of a Starka.
Of a what?
Of a Starka.
What's that?
Like, basically barrel aged vodka that Eastern Europeans they would bury a barrel of neutral spirits when the kid was born, and then it'd get unburied. Yeah, so but it's a lot creamier than what I thought it was going to be. It's very nice. I like this.
Yeah. Well, thank you, guys. I'm going to try to blow you up so I can see you a little bit better.
Oh, well, I can make us all even now. It's just, I probably know what you mean. There's a little expansion button in the lower right corner.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get away with the comments. Oh, I probably can't, can I? Those are there for good.
No, I think if you go all the way up, it might. Yeah, it'll get rid of the comments then.
Oh, got it. Okay. Awesome. So the next one is the Abyss Gin, but I suggest that we make a cocktail first while we have our wits about us. And then we'll sip the vodka or the gin, and then we'll sip the cocktail.
I gotcha.
Does that sound good?
It does.
So I have a coupe glass.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can put it in a sippy cup from your kids' collection for all I
But I do not own a coupe glass. That's like, I don't own a coupe glass.
Whatever holds liquor is fine.
Okay.
I just happen to be a glass collector, so I have I love beautiful glassware. That's kind of my Achilles heel. So we're using Abyss. Abyss is it's Navy strength, and I'm sure everyone knows what Navy strength is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm assuming everyone on this channel does. Otherwise, Google it. And it's more about fun marketing, and 114 proof. So it's ballsy and it's big, and the difference between 114 and 80 proof is water. So why not give more value to the customers while allowing them to proof down to what their preferred ideal palate is? Because I always say the right way to drink is your way. No judgment. I have friends that put ice in their Chardonnay. As long as you love it, that's really all that matters. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably going to extra shake this one, because I usually make this cocktail with the Sundog, which is an 86 proof, right? So a lot lighter, doesn't need a lot of dilution. So I'm probably going to extra shake it. I am super lazy, if you guys haven't figured that out from the last time we chatted. And I buy all my stuff like pre-juiced. So in Minnesota, Kowalski is one of my event sponsors for all the charity work that we do, and they provide me all the food. Partner with me on all the food. And they have the pre-squeezed lime juice, and then I strain it because it's super thick and just like when it's in a coupe. This is already sexy, or sippy cup, not as sexy, but no judgment. You want that pulp out of there, because that is disgusting. Like, I don't know. I am not a pulp girl. Even my orange juice.
Yeah, me either.
No.
If I want pulp, I'll eat the fruit.
What did
What'd
you
you
say?
say?
If I want pulp, I'll eat the fruit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If I need the fiber, I'll ask for it.
Right.
Give me the juice. All right, I'm going to go get my shaker. Hold on. I had it in the freezer.
All right, and I'm going to blow up the recipe on the screen for people. So you're going to need 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice, 1 to 1 ounce of simple syrup, 2 dashes of orange bitters, and 5 large mint leaves.
I think we're going to have a serious divide of the pulp, no pulp crowd.
I don't know, man. I'm no pulp. I do.
Yeah, I'm not the texture. I don't like that when I'm drinking something. Man.
Can you block the people that like pulp? Can you
We'll
kick them out?
we'll kick them out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could block them.
Bye.
I'm just kidding.
Mike, did you just say you liked pulp?
I could go either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting that.
That was fantastic. All right, so you guys, I'm going to start. I kind of go a little backwards, but I love the Angostura orange bitters. There are a lot of great bitters out there, but I will say, and probably because it's mass produced, but I like it that it's a little sweeter. I like that it's an incredibly bright orange. A lot of the orange bitters seem to be more deep in vintage, not unlike my bitter orange liqueur, which I think has its place. But when you're making this beautiful, summery, bright spring cocktail, I don't want to bring it down. I want to like enhance it and bring it brighter. So I use the Angostura orange. I literally buy it in 12 packs. I'm slightly obsessed. And I'll do like 6 wonk wonks. I don't really measure. You can't really screw up with this one. It's not overwhelming. And then I toss in all your ingredients, which is the lime juice, the gin at 114. So reminder, we're gonna extra dilute this so that you don't, I mean, unless you really like it strong, then don't dilute extra. I like it a little bit more, a little softer.
Hey, Patrick,
and then
can you throw up those ingredients for me again real quick?
I'll bring them up on the screen for a second, just so they're up there for a quick second.
And then I always like just pinch in the mint leaves and break them apart. And then you shake the shit out of it. Like, because what becomes really beautiful when you pour this out is the little broken pieces of mint. Makes it, you know, I mean, as you guys have seen, it's like a little confetti party. And just, to me, it just makes me happy.
All right, here we go.
Gotta be fancy. If anyone starts doing, if anyone starts doing the Asian Japanese long pour, I will give you a bottle on this.
Oh, now you're telling me.
Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's so talented. So once you shake it, you can let it dilute a little bit too as we sit here. I would say pour up while it's diluting, if you don't want to shake it, which I'm not going to because it's really disruptive. Oh, someone's already drinking. Through that dilution crap.
Yeah, the hell with that. We're just going straight in.
For a bunch of babies. So with this one, I wanted people to feel like they were walking in the middle of the woods. So I did a bunch of tests at my house. One was floral, one was citrus, and one was woodsy. This is the woodsy one. So it has a ton of cedar tips in it, a ton of juniper berries, cedar tips, cedar berries, bilberries, the wild cherry bark, which is really beautiful. So just like a lot of woodsy notes to it. I also have used it to start several fires on girls' weekends.
On
I
purpose,
like you.
Garnish it with like a fresh lime wheel. You know, I'm always a big fan of the dehydrated as well.
This falls in line with another dangerous gin and drink that we had. Last time we had gin, we were all in that category of not having bad experiences with gin in the past. And we might have gotten carried away the last time we had gin.
Yeah, might have.
I could easily get carried away with this right here.
Yes,
I can tell
this is really
is dangerous.
We do another gin night with Fred Swanson. You need to be on it. We have a gin showdown.
I would love to. A plot. There we go.
Yeah, this is very good.
So could you imagine just having that on your patio? Right? Like I've made pictures of this before on a Sunday. Don't do that. Don't
I
do
can
that.
see that.
Unless you got Monday off.
Right.
Oh.
That's very good.
Yeah, and like the pine needle, you can totally smell. For me, this smells like almost like skiing on a winter day.
Like
Just
fresh and crisp, right?
Fresh,
Yeah.
crisp. It's got a little bit of pine needles in the air.
Yeah, that's a good
I mean,
description.
I'm getting a little kind of some other floral notes that don't, that are a little bit different, but they blend really nice. But it's such a nice crisp smell.
I love the way that mint and lime work with all the juniper and everything in there. This is.
And doesn't it just look pretty? All just beaten up.
Your glass makes
all
it look
that
better.
delicious pulp.
Throw that drink out if you did not strain it.
I strained it once.
But you know what? I don't know if you guys have ever used the key lime in the bottle. That's as like an emergency lime juice. That's actually not bad either. No pulp. And I think once you open it, it has to be refrigerated. But it's in a crunch. That's not bad.
Yeah, I like that cover. Yeah, that is really, really good. I'm not saying I'm surprised that I'm liking it this much, because still, even though gin is a little iffy on me, I know I didn't eat enough today to just slam this, so I need to be.
I could slam this, and that's.
I know that's my problem. Is like, I feel like it is right before we're at like a supper club, and it's like, ooh, 1, 2, 3, and whatever you're drinking is really good, and it doesn't matter. And that's where I kind of feel like with this right now. This could be a lot
That
of
is the
trouble.
biggest Wisconsin statement, by the way.
Supper club.
Supper club. It's like we're at a supper club, and it's like we're about to go to dinner, and just like start pounding.
Well,
Just outed
it's
yourself.
accurate.
Well, okay, so I guess these aren't shot, but if they were, they'd be delicious. Rhett used to say that he was allergic to gin, and I actually had to say, honey, here's the difference between vodka and gin. I think you just like gin too much, and then you forget the base, like you forget to eat, and then you're a wet noodle, and it's not the spirit, it's you.
That's true.
Yeah, I think, but a lot of people think there's something about it, but there's probably something about it because maybe they're vodka drinkers and they love it because it has more complexity, but it's still approachable. So then they just pound it. If we could just get them to low grand and then to some of that brown stuff, they would probably enjoy that just as much.
Yeah.
And we were just one of the viewers was just saying that she was trying it neat and she thinks it's wonderful neat. So there's nothing wrong with some science. So
well, thank you.
For,
I like
for
her.
science sake.
All right. Well, do you see now how you're earning the journey to the easy button?
Hold on here. I gotta get
hard
closer.
work.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable.
All right, we need to get you a sandwich because you're going to be a puddle at the end of this.
I might be. I'll put this over here.
Get him some like chicken noodle soup and half a chicken.
I ate a sandwich today. I'll be fine.
Get that boy a roast beef sandwich.
Yeah. See if a pizza shows up here in a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Oh, nice.
Oh, actually, this is a dry, right? The gin is a dry gin.
Yes, it is.
It's so much more approachable than some of the other dries I've smelt. When we found ones, I think we ran into, they were more like your other one, more like a New World one, a little bit brighter and not as piney. But
right,
you don't get that. It's not heavy in here on its own.
All right, so just curious if you can answer, how many botanicals exactly did you use?
we have 14 botanicals in
14? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel muddled up or over complex.
Right.
With the botanicals. I feel like they're all really working together in a really good way. So.
Thank you.
There's a local one here that I tried it, and it was 16 or 18 botanicals. And it was like, and I can taste each one of them individually. It was just not pleasant at all. This is very well done. That's a good gin.
Well, thank you guys. So I made this in the back of my kitchen with all the botanicals and basically put them in a huge saucepan. I think it might even be one of my first posts on Instagram. And because I contract distill at Yahara, basically I had to put all my botanicals together and then I would send it to him and say, run a test. So I did this big saucepan and then I just huffed the bag for like 2 weeks to see if that's what I wanted. And then I adjusted it because the sage was really musty. So I pulled out a little sage and then I added a little bit more of some other things. But like, there is, like, I agree that there is the turducken approach with gin. I have seen even a couple bars be like, so we're adding this gin and this gin and this gin to this ultimate blended gin. I'm like, you have like 100 botanicals in that. Nobody knows what the fuck they're drinking, and you can't decipher anything. And it's rarely do I think that works out to something really beautiful. I almost like when you make a pizza in the pizza oven. If you make it a garbage pizza, then it might taste really good, but nothing really shines. Where if you actually can practice the restraint and use limited ingredients and it'll give them that stage, it's a much more enjoyable experience.
Yeah. It can leave a mark on what's going on because you really do get to taste some of that flavor. I feel that way about some Supreme pizza. It's just too much shit on it for me. I'm sorry.
Too much.
Too much shit on it.
I feel like that with my pizzas I make myself because sometimes I can't find the restraint. So it happens. I will say with this, I was very cognizant of the botanicals that I put in it. I use sweetgrass from South Dakota because that's my family roots. And one of my favorite things to do is to go to the Badlands and drive through in my Jeep, off-roading through the fields and just smelling that sweetgrass. I mean, it's family to me. So we put sweetgrass in there. I put cedar berries. I loved bitter cubes, cherry bark vanilla bitters. So I wanted that kind of woodsy aspect to it. I love rosemary. I actually have a huge plant in my corner that I bring in every winter out of the ground. One of my favorite herbs to cook with. So I also put that in there as fresh. So everything plays a part. It's not that turducken approach. It's very thoughtful and considering how everything plays off of each other, trying to be respectful to the botanical while making it different and approachable. Because you can't just, there's a lot out there. So what are you going to do to make it different without going turducken?
When you mentioned the rosemary, that was like this, like a little earthy note that I could not put my finger on until you said it. It wasn't coming to me, but that now that you said it, it's like, okay, that's definitely what that is. And I hate when I feel dumb like that when you're like, man, that should have come right to my head. And it should have just snapped right there. But then when you hear it, it just clicks. You're like, that is totally what it's supposed to be.
I appreciate being led to water because I feel like I'm dumb all the time. So someone will be like, I smell a dentist chair. And I'm like, yeah, I smell that too. I do. I can be very easily influenced. That was actually in a Scotch tasting book, was dentist chair and dentist gloves. A hint of that.
I get the gloves, but the chair, I don't know.
I could see the chair more than the glove. The gloves could be a lot more gross than the chair.
Right?
It can be, but the gloves are getting by your face and your nose. That's what
they're getting in your face.
You guys all know that
in
smell.
In your face.
And you know that smell of the burning tire. You know that there's one spirit that we have that reminds me of Grandma's suitcase. And I've never had a grandma that I've met, nor have I ever smelled her suitcase. But if I did have one and she had a suitcase, it would smell like that, just like musty, vintagey, like an accordion box. And that's the beauty of this, is that we all have our own receptors. There is no right or wrong. There's going to be things you guys could smell that I could never smell and vice versa. So that's why the journey and talking it out, once we've had like our time to process it, because I think that quiet tasting is really important, that it gets you to hone in your receptors and train you to find things. Mm-hmm. But then to hear what everyone else is tasting, I think is a really fun journey.
Yeah. Is there fennel in the gin?
No fennel.
No fennel. Okay.
But maybe floss, because you might have some in your teeth. No, I'm just kidding. No, but fennel would be beautiful in this. Like I love fennel and salmon and the prawns and the boat. Like I love fennel. That'd be a fun idea.
Yeah, that's another something we cook a lot with is fennel. But rosemary, I have a whole bank planted of rosemary, and I'm cutting it like weekly to use in different dishes and stuff. So it kind of excited me when you said there's rosemary in this, and once you hit that, it's like, okay, yeah, now I can pick that up, and I almost feel like it's like you said, Patrick. It's not on top. It's not real prominent, but it's almost, you feel like it's kind of the glue that's bringing everything together in a way that's holding it all. Because when you start picking up those notes of rosemary in this drink with the lime and the mint, especially the way that plays with the juniper and the pine and all, it's, man, the more you dig into it, the more you start getting into the nuance that's in there. And that's what I'm really enjoying so much about this. Not only is it tasty, but from an exploring standpoint, you can really kind of like try to sift through some little nuance and little notes that are there. And that's keeping it really fun.
Mm-hmm. Dave is saying this would be beautiful with some salmon. So
yeah, did you guys send salmon out to the people that got the kit?
No.
Just Dave.
Just Dave.
Yeah.
Just Dave.
Salmon is one of my favorite things to cook. I cook it on parchment paper at 400 degrees for 10 minutes, broil it for like 1 minute, and I usually put like some sort of like ginger, Asian, like super elevated seasoning on it, like very lightly. I've had it like 4 times this week. I'm probably going to die from mercury poisoning, but I agree that this would be fantastic with salmon, because salmon's so fatty, beautiful and rich, that even in like an Asian version of that with like ginger and some basil or lemongrass, I mean, that's all meant to happen. And then put some dirty fatty fried rice on it just to soak up all the booze.
Yeah, I was thinking of different meals they could have this with, and Asian was one of them. It's like, I could see doing some really nice stir. I mean, clearly, look, my glass is empty. This was really good.
We need to move on then. Let's go. Chop.
This from the lady who wanted to start at noon.
Yep.
Who said I didn't?
I said you did.
Yeah.
I said you did want to start at noon. I was like, I got a job. I can't start at noon.
No, that's fair. Well, I think after we chatted on we're gonna make cocktails and we're gonna hang out, let's pick a Friday so that we don't have the kids, so we can lean in and just have fun and not have to be responsible or worry about the kids running around.
So,
right.
Where do you want to go next?
Anyway.
Now we're gonna go to Regatta.
All righty.
That is a 3+ year rye whiskey. And I imported some absolutely gorgeous barrels from Barbados. When they arrived, they literally looked like out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Just stunning, picturesque, traveled the ocean barrels. They were so amazing smelling on the inside. We dumped them, put the 3-year rye in there. I believe we're on year 2. I only made 10 barrels. I only have 4 barrels left. I'm probably not, the dogs are out, so watch out. I'm not going to make probably any more, or maybe it'll just be maybe 1 or 2 casks a year. But it was just more of like a fun experiment.
Now, we had this last year, and I know we really enjoyed this. So I'm excited to see what some of the people.
Yeah.
So it's called. Sorry, I'm talking over you guys, but I'll just keep talking.
No, it's all.
I'll just railroad you.
Hey, you're we have you here for a reason. So.
Yeah.
Well, and this goes till 6 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's whenever the stream will shut us off. I don't know when that is on YouTube anymore, but whatever.
Maybe
I think it's 8 hours, maybe more. I think we're good.
Like a filibuster. All right. So the spiciness of the rye plays really beautiful with the spiciness of the the aged rum cask. So there is no additives. Well, obviously none of my stuff has additives, but there's no sugar added. There's no staving. It's just truly the wood doing its beauty, going in and out for a couple of years. I've been making, bizarrely enough, talk about Wisconsin Supper Club. I have been making Amaretto Rye Sours. I don't
Really?
I don't know if those exist, but they go down like water.
My sister's going to have to try that. She loves Amaretto. So.
Because Amaretto Sours are just too foofy for me. So like, how do we meet it up a little bit and just like doing a dollop of Amaretto because it's so impactful with like a couple shots of the rye and then a dollop of the sour mix. I don't know what happened. I haven't bought Amaretto in 20 years and I was just slaying it this winter.
Yeah, rye and rum, just the different types of spices you can get in a combination from them, plus the sugars are interesting.
Man,
right?
This is amazing. So tell us about the rum. What do you know about the rum that was in these barrels?
So it is from Mount Gay.
Okay.
They're in Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
It is about a $600 rum cask. They have their aged rum in it. That's why we called it Regatta Rye, is that Mount Gay is very well known for the regatta that they run every year. Mm-hmm. So we thought we'd give a homage to the provider of the barrel. You know, I'm not a rye drinker. Like I have never been.
What flavor in rye did you dislike then? Because usually there's one of 3 flavors, and I want to see if I'm on your team again. That's all.
Team Pulp.
I think it was purely uneducated. So okay. I think that I would just go to the liquor store and my collection would consist of scotches and bourbon. And I never really went to, and I still don't really have a big like wheated bourbon or rye collection. But I do really like it. It can be hot. It can be a little less sweet. So even though I'm not a sweet drinker, I do appreciate the profile of the bourbon. And even the scotches I enjoy are cask finished and bring a little softness to it. So that's definitely my profile. So I think when I did have it, it was probably just a little too warm and I didn't really know what to do with it. What don't you like?
I don't like anise or black licorice. It just usually just jumps. I'm getting better to it over time with things. Like there have been things where it's been prominent and I've been okay with it, but then there's just been times where it was just it's too much or it's not in balance with the drink and it's like too much or too sharp, and I think I'm a little sensitive because that's just the way my palate is to it, because I'll pick that out in a lot of things. So
does that mean too much Jaeger in college?
I only had a little bit, but I hated the shit. It was
horrible.
Everyone's like, let's do this, and I was like, God, no. Don't.
What's wrong with you people?
Well, if you're gonna spend that much on, there was other things you could buy. That was always my argument. Same thing with the people who bought Aftershock, like that crazy ultra bad cinnamon one, and I'm like, oh, there's so much else there.
Right? Rhett's been begging me to make a respectable Fireball, and then I asked him, does that exist?
Is there such a thing? Yeah.
There, you know what? There is. I would have to say, Cat's Eye Distillery in Iowa. They make one called Krupnik.
Okay.
And it is. You can see all the bits floating in it. And I like to call it. I've never had Fireball. I never will have Fireball on principle.
Good man.
But all I'm telling you is this Krupnik. I call it Fireball if you're not a douchebag, because it's really good. It's very warming. It's wonderful in a tea. Great by itself when it's cold outside, but it's thick. I mean, you can see the honey and the spices and everything floating in this stuff. It's pretty good stuff. They
should have called it FINYAB, because that's the acronym for Fireball if you're not a douchebag.
And I think actually Ace Spirits might carry it near you.
What? Okay, well I'm ordering it. That's for sure.
Because they have cats. I know that they have some Cat's Eye stuff.
I think the last time I was on there, I thought I saw the Krupnik on there, so they should have it.
Okay, I'm making my notes. Done.
That rye is fantastic.
I really like your rye a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let's be clear, you should, because it's sourced rye. And it's the same base as Bullet. So it's basically we're using the same product as Bullet, but we're aging it longer. So that's why it's a short run. It was more about what kind of cask can I source? I know your mind is blown right now.
It is. I don't like Bullet at all.
Well, or do you? Or maybe you just don't like Bullet because it's not cask finished.
It's probably, that's just great.
Yeah. So this was more of just like shits and giggles. People, like a few people kept bugging me to make one. I sold a few barrels to some bars and some hotels. And, I don't think it's something that we'll really do on like a major level like we did with our launch, but maybe like just fun. But, it's sourced and it's rather easy to replicate. So that's kind of not our jam in how we do our products. So, but
would you ever go exploring more with different rums to make a different expression of the Regatta rye?
That's a really good idea because there are some amazing, funky, like agricole rums out there. Did I say that right? That would be really fun. That's actually probably a really great way to justify being okay doing some more is, making it more of like a craft series and just different. And partnership to me is really fun. So like who can I partner with? Who can I support? Who can I cross promote?
Sorry.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Privateer rum. Maggie Campbell makes really good rum at Privateer Rum.
She makes damn good rum.
Oh,
Where's she?
They're in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to talk. She's a wealth of knowledge too, so it's always fun and good to listen to her as well. Man, I don't even know what to go next to. I got to keep my hands off the glasses. That's my problem.
You need to sit on your hands.
Patrick's going to be face down on the floor. In
I'm not. I'm actually feeling no worse than normal. And
this is how it starts, Patrick.
Yeah, I know.
Next thing you know, he eats a pound of bacon and he's sweating over there. And
That's right.
Gone.
He's got meat sweats.
That only happened once, and it was on a different show. And we did have 18 whiskeys that night, so that's not my fault.
You're going to have a Wisconsin Supper Club pass out here in about 5 minutes.
Get out the Amaretto, man.
Yep.
It's happening.
Amaretto and Jello molds.
Jello molds. I have a bucket of shots, Jello shots, somewhere in this house that I hid and I can't find. And I bought them because they look so ghetto fab. And I'm like, I'm going to surprise my girlfriends with like one party. And I'm going to say, everyone's doing shots. And now I can't find them. They're somewhere. I'm going to find them in like 2 years. And what's going to be creepy is like a Twinkie. They're going to be totally fine for eating.
You're going to be questioning it too. You're like, I made these last night. Do you guys want to try some?
Yeah. Why are they dusty?
I should press them all out and then put like glitter on them and make them look like really fancy, like I actually did the work.
Yes, I did hear that they. I did not know this. I'm not a big cocktail person, but I did not know that they have edible cocktail glitter. Oh God!
Yeah.
There you go.
Are you kidding me?
I guess I should know better.
This is like these are like 5 of like 15 that I have. I love glitter. So you can also have like, there's an airbrush metallic color that you can put in. There is also like iridescent powders.
You clearly have to get more involved in cocktails.
Guys, step up your game here. So what I love
people would talk if I made a cocktail for myself and threw glitter on it.
No, your kids would talk. That's what you're concerned about.
They think I completely lost it at that point.
I stand by a memorable cocktail is about the glass, the ice, the quality of every single ingredient and the garnish and the smell. That's why I think like a zested orange over so many cocktails is important. Because you smell it before it even gets to you, right? The garnish makes you like get visually drawn into it. The glass and the feel, like all those things create this beautiful memory that people want to go back to certain places and have it again and again and again. I've won so many cocktail contests. Like so many. And sometimes with just every distillery shows up making their own cocktail. I love this dolly, by the way. I'm using it every time going forward. And I will come up with my bottled cocktail, which is the laziest way to show up to a cocktail competition, is with my case of pre-made. And of course it tastes delicious, but then we will express it with orange, and then we'll toss dehydrated oranges in a bag with this is like a gorgeous green glitter. You have gold, you have everything. The way that people react to a glittered garnish, you would think that you paid them to take the cocktail. It looks like a present. I took these Amaretto cherries in a little bowl, let them for the most part drip off, so they just had a light little sauce on them. And I put a cherry colored glitter on them and rolled it around. It literally looked like a Christmas ornament. And then I speared it and put it on top of an old fashioned, and it was stunning. Now you get it all over your face. Like, that's what the guys hate, is that, you sip your drink and it's everywhere, but it's also water soluble. So it's not like regular glitter that never goes away. Just go wash your face, wash your hands or whatever. Like if you're getting that messy with your cocktail. But it's a stunning way to jazz up a cocktail. Can you tell? But I'm also a 13-year-old girl, so I love glitter. I'm wearing a goddamn leopard print button-up shirt, so we all know I'm a little eccentric to an extent.
I think it's fun, and I like it.
My daughter would like you a lot.
How old is she?
She is 9.
All right, tell her to call me.
Yeah.
Dad, she's so cool. She's 13.
I'm going to have her making you amazing old fashions by Sunday.
Oh, that's okay. She makes Father's Day cards at school, and it's me holding a glass of whiskey. This is Dad and his whiskey. Teachers probably all think I'm an alcoholic or something. But, yeah.
That is awesome.
This is Dad not talking to us again.
Dad is busy.
Yeah.
Gavin gets excited to send whiskey out to people. He's like, "Are we sending whiskey to people?" I'm like,
yeah.
"No, we're not."
Yeah.
We're sending lotion.
Yeah. This is olive oil.
Yeah.
One of Sydney's birthday cards had crooked water drawn into it. I'm like, yeah. She thinks she was maybe 12. It was that's cute. Gosh, she really knows how dedicated we are. But judging myself that we don't have this cool trip we went on to put in this card. No, just mommy and daddy and what they do all day, which is nice. All right, you guys, are you ready for the old quiet night?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Right, so I keep coming back to this vodka. I keep grabbing the glass. I keep roasting it. I keep sipping it. It's just so dang delightful.
I think so for a vodka, just because I got to a point where I was sick and I almost hated vodkas. And it was partially because of Sky Vodka, everyone, because I just don't need not Sky's original, but the 40 other bottles on the shelf of different flavors and whipped cream and chocolate and everything. It just got to be too much at that point.
Wait.
I feel like I upset someone, and she just
I'm out.
Thanks,
are you
Patrick.
saying you don't like birthday cake flavored vodka?
I don't know. I might, but I just think it's too much. There's just too many of them, and I don't know.
Yeah. Never underestimate the poor taste of Americans. That is the majority, right? We are the 20%ers on this call.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm okay with that.
All right, let's see. If we're moving on to the quiet night, I'm going to put up the recipe so people can see it for a second before we start, so they know what to pull out here. 1.5 ounces, or maybe 2. I say 1.5. Save a little bit to see what you think of it on its own.
Yeah.
and a half ounce of mezcal, 2 teaspoons of Demerara syrup, 4 dashes of orange bitters, and 3 drops of pure vanilla extract. Now, I'll take that down, but I just wanted everyone at home to see what they were supposed to be working with. Or maybe I won't take that down. Damn screen. There we go.
All right. So this is one of my favorite winter cocktails, and honestly, like one of my favorite end of night cocktails. I use that Vida Encho in Mexico. It is a really beautiful and really affordable mezcal. So never, yeah, you got it. Never feel weird about mixing this because it's like under $30 a bottle. And it doesn't have like, I'm not a big fan of the burnt rubber type of mezcal. I like it to be a more smoky. Oh, you're going to get it. So hold on.
That's fine.
Talk through your love of mezcal while I kick my dog.
Oh,
they're fine.
Mezcal is lovely.
Yeah, I picked up one at first, and this is crazy. It ends up tasting like Lafroig on the back half of it. Not what I was expecting, but it's definitely what I'm using.
What's the mezcal? There's a specific name for it that they actually cook the chickens in the still.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
But I want to try some of that. It's like Pachaga or something like that. I want to try some of that.
Mark says he needs to get some. If you just have a smoky Scotch, you grab something like that, or a Cole Keegan would work great in this too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
grab some more ice. I'm going to go grab some more ice real quick.
Yeah, she did say that Lafroig was a good substitute on this cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lafroig. Thank you. Lafroig would be beautiful on this.
So I'm waiting to see how this works out.
All right, so I'm just gonna pour it all in a pre-measured, ready to go. Just because you have the Demerara, I don't want to worry about it like seizing up with the ice being in it. But you could build it in the glass. I've done that a million times. And then the drops of vanilla.
That's right.
4 drops. And then go back to maybe 4 of the vanilla bitter or the orange bitters. I usually make a double. I only made a single, so it might not reach all the way that it needs to.
Oh.
Just been outed. Now, so you pour it over the rock. Oh, so yummy. And then I think what's really important is to take your orange and then just peel it, express it over. You can see it all come out. Rim it as well, and then just throw it in.
All right, hold on here.
So this is like your cocktail hour cocktail. This is like your Manhattan. This is like your old fashioned. As you can tell, it's a lot of booze. And it's meant to dilute over the ice. It's not the mint gin shot cocktail that we just made.
Oh, shit, that's good.
That's
really...
Mine is so interesting on the nose, man.
So have you pre-made this one in quantity like the other one?
So I pre-make this cocktail for parties. I would love to actually make this as a ready to pour for sale, but there's so much rules around importing. You can't import mezcal bulk. So then I would have to, and I do have some connections that have connections in Mexico. So we could look at shipping down barrels and making it there and then shipping it back up. It'd be very expensive. And I don't know if people would pay that for a ready to pour, right? Like $60 or $70 for 12 cocktails. It's still better than the street value in a bar.
Yeah.
But I think it's a hard price tag to swallow for a retailer. They won't believe in their customers to buy that.
Do you think you could get away with instead having all the other ingredients and then and aging it in mezcal barrels for a period of time?
Possibly. I think we've looked at Lafroig barrels, but I like it. I like the mezcal aspect of it. That would be a fun experience, but we would still then have to. It had to be a really pungent barrel because you're not adding any of that spirit. So I actually think Lafroig would probably be more appropriate because you can smell that from across the room when you make a cocktail with it. Mm-hmm. And that might have enough power in the barrel to participate with just bourbon as the main dancer.
I'm done for the night, guys. This is amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. This is awesome.
Oh, yay! I'm so glad you guys love it. So the reason I love Old Hell, and you guys should try that straight as well. So this is in a partnership with a local cooperage called Element, and they initially were called Atlas. They rebranded. Greg used to make violins and was on the board of the Guthrie here, or the orchestra. And then went from violin and cello making to making barrels. Now they're super small, so I'm not actually quite sure how much Old Hell will have in like 5 years, which is really interesting, unless we can figure out how on a skeleton, because COVID just completely fucked him. It fucked everyone that was craft in the distillery that had a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And all orders stopped for a lot of cooperages. I mean, they were at capacity and huge delays pre-COVID, and everyone stopped. I mean, Greg said from the folks that he's chatted, I was one of the only people that was looking to buy barrels, and that's just because we didn't have brick and mortar overhead. Because we contract distill, so we had more freedom, which I'm super grateful for on our approach, because this you can't predict. You just can't predict it. Yeah. The black swan that we've gone through, or the 8 black swans that we've gone through. Yeah. But what I love about this is I showed up at his distillery. So first of all, the first time we met, or the second time, the first time we just ended up partying all night, and we happened to just randomly meet at a bar, and the bartender was like, "You make bourbon and you make barrels, you guys should talk." Well, here we go. And then we end up getting shit-faced at the distillery, and we're shooting guns in the back. At one point, I accidentally unload a shotgun, thankfully pointing in the right direction. But there was blood in broken glasses. I mean, it was. I'm like,
there is some blood.
Someone broke a glass. So then that went haywire. I accidentally unload a shotgun, just laughing. I accidentally pulled the trigger as it was facing the right way, though. I do have some gun safety expertise. But they're those are my kind of people. So I loved Greg, or love Greg. So I connected with him, and I said, let's just do an R&D day at the cooperage. Here's what I want to do. I want to take the barbecue methodology to barreling. I want to do what no big company can do, or even a lot of companies won't do because of the time and the cost. Let's do a multi-hour toasting, and then let's smoke this barrel, and then let's rechar it, and then let's put our 2-year in the second barrel that's brand new for another 2 years. And that's what we did after a little bit of playing around and what worked and what didn't work. We pulled it out after 3.5 years. And the beautiful side note of that we didn't expect, because we were really taking so much time to pull the beauty and the sugars out of this barrel, which also dehydrates it. So then it's kind of solving for the ebb and flow and the leaking of the barrel, and how do you push the barrel to a big brink without ruining the barrel or making it a gong show for the manufacturing team and the distillery team to take care of. But what ended up happening was this beautiful silky, not gregarious smokiness to it, very light, but the viscosity on it is just stunning. Like if you just pour it and then you sip it, empty the glass, and then put it aside, come back in 2 hours and it will be like perfume. It'll be so strong. Where a lot of whiskeys, when the air hits it, they just disappear. They don't have enough sugar in it, and it doesn't have enough oomph to kind of give that kind of second showing to it. And it's really beautiful. I'm really proud of this one and what we've made. And there's so many aspects to the second barrel. No one else in the world has it. I think that's what makes it so special is I have an art background. Greg has a cello making, obviously a creative background. So then you get two people, having fun in a cooperage, like really fun things happen. And a lot of guns and alcohol.
I know everyone likes the drink. I'm gonna say I like the bourbon better by itself. Like this is dangerous for me. Like the flavor profile and how it goes down. I don't even need it with anything else. And I think I added too much mezcal to my drink. But that's
well, then how you tell that you add more bourbon.
I know, but I want to.
I want to
keep some of it.
You're passed out in an hour.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, weren't you the one telling me not to finish these drinks so fast? Anyway, hold on, let me go back to this one.
Yeah, no, it's the bourbon by itself really is fantastic. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank
you. I think I have a new favorite cocktail. Holy cow!
Yeah.
This is just checking off all the boxes for me.
Right. It really is just like an old fashioned twist. Like it has like, I don't know. It's like a historical, like it brings in it brings in the vanilla. Like to me, it brings in the kitchen. It brings in the citrus. It brings in the earthiness of the Demerara. It brings in the smokiness. The mezcal takes it up a notch. The history of mezcal, which is just beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. It's like to me, it's like a soulful spin on an old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is satisfying when you need a sweet tooth, and oh man, I keep breathing funny tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's not the liquor, right?
No, it's everything else with me.
I'm just glad you're here. Get a COVID test if you feel bad tomorrow.
It's okay. I only have to work for 4 hours, so it's no big deal. But they wanted to let you know that, Heather, these are really delicious cocktails.
Oh, I can't read everything, so thanks for reading it out. Like, if you can save it, I'd love that, because I'm 43 and I can't read that text from 3 feet away.
That's fair.
I went to the eye doctor this week. I had to upgrade my glasses, and I got the whole lecture. I'm 43, turning 44 this year, and I got the whole big lecture the other day about you're hitting your mid 40s, and so you can expect your near vision to start really going down in the next year or two. And I'm like, thanks for the good news, buddy. But yeah, you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, I had to get bifocals a couple of years ago. My wife was a few years older, and I'm 50. And my wife was a few years older, and she had hers for a while. So by the time I got mine, she had a horrible problem with hers getting used to it. It induced what am I going to say now? Heights. Whatever the heights. Anyway, I can't remember. It induced that basically she couldn't. Okay, look, I've had 2 freaking cocktails. And they're really good. Anyway, so she had vertigo. Yeah, so it induced it. So I got mine, and she's like staring at me, like waiting for me to get it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't get it. I don't like them, and I hate them, and it's really weird. But I didn't get the vertigo. So, but I know some people have a hell of a time with it. But yeah, bifocals, not cool. Sorry, it sucks getting old.
Yeah, I haven't had to go down that route
yet. Is this what happens when you start drinking a lot of booze? We go down like a old people, like bad spiral.
You got to pull yourself out of that.
Anyways, we're going to start talking about our bowel movements and like spots on our bodies that we don't know what they are.
You take fiber? How much do you take every day?
Yeah.
I drink 64 ounces of water every day.
Yeah. Well, up to 2 cups of flax.
Wow. Your bowel movements have to be like a sausage.
It's like a water slide.
Out.
No.
This doesn't mix well with Metamucil. It just doesn't.
Yeah. That's a hell of a cocktail. You got to try it sometime. But you got to use the edible glitter because otherwise it's no fun.
Right. If only that went through the whole process. Going to the bathroom would be a lot more fun.
I was about to say, does that edible glitter stick through to the other end? Because that would be an amazing.
Yeah.
Or panicky.
It'd be a great prank to play on somebody.
Oh God.
All right, I got to be right back. I go grab some more ice. I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah,
okay.
Go eat a sandwich.
Yeah, because now we're moving on to the button of the. Maybe do we save since we just made a cocktail? Maybe we'll move on to the bitter orange liqueur or the Lost Lake.
All the above.
Oh, I'm going to pour that in there. I'm not going to let that go to waste. So let's go to the bitter orange liqueur just to break it up a little bit. I always like to shake it a little bit. So I don't know if you guys can see the label, but we put on this like ghetto fab. And actually, I think the 200 mils that I sent you guys.
Yeah.
These are super cool little bottles, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Talk about 13-year-old girl. We did like 7 renditions to get to this is as gaudy as I could get it within printing capability. So we pushed it as far as we could. So this is our bitter orange liqueur. 50 proof. And this is what we actually use as the bitter orange liqueur component in our ready to pour Negroni and our ready to pour Boulevardier. I actually wanted to source a local bitter orange that was kind of like goes back to that bright Angostura, but they didn't have the ability to sell it in bulk, so then I just ended up making my own. And surprisingly enough, really love and appreciate what we came up with, in that it's just so much more deep in flavor and the profile. It's almost, I would say, vintagey versus bright. And I know that might not make sense to anyone, but that in my head, that's how I know how to describe it. Really beautiful in an Aperol spritz or anywhere that you would use that bitter orange component.
Okay. So should we just have this neat by itself?
Yeah. So you would, well, I mean, right now, yeah. But I would say, so here are my favorite ways I've had it. Straight up on the rocks, in a Collins with Perrier, mineral sparkling water, because the bubbles are really small, and it has a different mouthfeel. And it was fantastic. So if you're trying to do like low ABV, it was actually really good. A buddy of mine made that for me. And normally I would never do that because I'm not a big fan of the highballs or the watery cocktails. Aperol spritz, and then anywhere that you would use a bitter component.
Ooh.
I could see something like San Pellegrino or Gerolstein, whatever the German mineral water, the kind of the mineral and the high calcium content in that water, would be really interesting with this. So
I missed part of it before, but I'm guessing there's orange bitters in this.
There's a ton of bitter orange peel dehydrated. There's about I want to say 18 botanicals in here, because it takes a lot to get an interesting balance of the intense bitter. So basically I had my entire kitchen table with about 30 mason jars on it that we did several, just all infusions. And then Rhett and I went through, and thankfully only him and I was actually going to have a party around it. And I realized like half of them were shit. And that would have been really horrible for people to drink them, because it just like destroyed your palate. So we were able to toss what was like way too bitter and then take the top 3 that we loved out of the 20 plus that we did. And then we just combined them and tweaked them. So we're at about a 10 plus day maceration. Okay. And then we just add a simple syrup to it to bring it down to 50 proof. We wanted to make it a little bit more higher proof, so it didn't just completely take down a cocktail.
It has a nice little barrel finish feel to it for me. I can just tell by having it. This is way better than what a lot of people will make. Even though Wisconsin is known for old fashions, there are a lot of people who make horrible ones here. Haunts on the nose is wonderful. I feel everyone's freed up. I don't know what's going on.
What I'm automatically thinking of is somebody's making a mulled wine or a cider or something, a hot cider. A splash of this would be amazing in that.
Oh, for sure. So there's a lot. Yeah. So we are on just in case you don't know, we're on the bitter orange liqueur, not the old fashioned.
Jesus, that's why I'm wrong. Okay.
Can you pick up and just get on your shit, please?
Hey, I had to go upstairs. I needed some ice, and now I screwed up that.
4 people on the call, 3 professionals. No, so we're on the bitter orange, but yeah, you're totally right. So I have a lot of cinnamon in there, and that's where you're getting kind of that fall-y apple cider kind of tones to it. There are some cloves in there as well, and then a lot of bitter aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Definitely getting that clove note, and that's playing really nice with that bitter.
So what cocktail would you make with this?
Oh, wow.
So we made this for our Negroni and our Boulevardier. So this is what we use as the bitter component in those cocktails. I use it frequently in the summer because I don't enjoy feeling out of control or drunk, but I always level, nice little buzz, especially when I'm entertaining. So to me, that's a lot of spritzes. So I can keep up with everybody. So a little soda water, a little bit of this, and then you top it off with Prosecco, and then a little bit of the orange bitters just to give it a little bit more depth. That's kind of my patio, we're about to party but need to go slow kind of cocktail. But anywhere that you would use that bitter agent. So we weren't going to bring this to market, but in my brand managers out and talking with everyone, and telling the story and how we made the Negroni and how we made the Boulevardier, they wanted to try the bitter orange. And then with them trying the bitter orange, everyone said they wanted it. And what's really fun is that we only just released 70 cases, and they all have been designated and delivered. Nice. So now we're in the process of making more. Because when everyone tries it, it's very humbling and gratifying, and like Christmas morning when people say, yeah, I want this and I want to bring it in, because you guys know the liquor stores are so inundated with hundreds of brands trying to get room, that when they make room for a new product, it's a big deal. It's maybe the right word is affirmational, that we're doing the right things.
Wow. Sorry, this is the first time I had the drink of this. This is really interesting.
Thank you.
Holy cow.
So does it taste like an old fashioned, Patrick?
No. I mean, a little bit. Not
guys, I'm pretty sure he has COVID because he can't taste anything.
Yeah, everything is fantastic.
Everything tastes like an old fashioned.
I just added a splash of this. I just added splashes to the last cocktail we made with the old hell.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's fantastic.
I would actually wonder if you used the bitter orange instead of the Demerara, and maybe you can increase it by double because the sugar content is so much less, that you would have a much more spirit forward but really complex cocktail.
Mm-hmm. Wow. There's a lot of earthiness in that cinnamon. It was it was not maybe medium in length, but it had 3 little twists as I was drinking it. It was here and then woof, it bent and it bent back again. There's some neat complexity to that, and just that little sip I had. Damn.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. So this just launched, you guys. It's been in the making for 2 years, but it just actually came to market for people to purchase less than a month ago.
I'm going to have a lot of fun with this over the next few weeks because I'm toying around with absinthe a lot here lately and making cocktails, and I'm seeing this with some absinthe being really interesting. That
would be really fun.
I just happen to have a spare glass.
So I want you to tag me when you tag me. Do you have an Instagram?
Not on it. I'm Facebook and Twitter.
Man.
My two worlds.
Well, at this point, you're making a statement, so you're never going to have one.
Yeah.
We have one. I can give him access.
There you go.
He can post. He can do
have
it.
a post through you so that I can see what you made and post the recipe and let us know how it is.
We'll do. And I'll tag you on Facebook on it too. So.
Thanks. All right, you guys.
Oh.
Let's go hard again, right? We've given our.
Gil is just wondering. Oh.
You are very knowledgeable?
Gil is wondering how long you've been doing this.
That's the question?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think it's vice versa. You are very knowledgeable. How long have you been doing this?
Like, you are great, question mark?
You're a nice person?
Are you?
I'm just trying to figure out if this is an insult or a compliment. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't quite see that when I read it. Damn it, Gil, you're getting us in trouble.
He may have drank the mint condition as well as the quiet night, and
I think he's finished all of them.
Everyone's been keeping up.
So my background is I've always been a foodie. We're just teasing you, Gil. Love you. I grew up with a foodie. I've always loved food. My dad was my best friend. That's also why I'm in my tech company, is that I just wanted to work with my dad. And for my dad and I, cooking was how we connected. Whether that was pickling pickles or beans or roasting tomatoes together or cooking pasta. My three passions in life are family, food, and spirits, booze. Whether, it could be wine, it could be spirits. I enjoy beer. I'm particular, but I enjoy it all. And my dad had heart disease, and I ended up making a really beautiful rub that was kind of like a Italian general, but really impactful rub. And everyone loved it. And my dad was like, you should bring that to our local chain here. That's like a gourmet chain. He's like, you should bring it to Kowalski's. And I said, okay. So I cold called them and eventually developed a line for people with heart disease that was low. That's what my dad had. That was low salt and high integrity ingredients. So that was my first exercise of bringing a product to market. And I learned a lot. And, that website, like we still sell through Kowalski's and mostly online, and just signed on a distributor. So this little thing might rear its ugly head again, or beautiful head. But you could go to dirtygoodness.com and look at our spices. And I know it kind of sounds like a porn site, but it is not. I used to say to the chefs all the time, I know, dang it. There is a little sexy pinup girl on it, but I always used to tell chefs that this is like dirty good. Like, there are two dirty goods when you eat. There's a dirty good where everyone's going to see your O face and give me a curtain to eat this like amazing, think like fresh truffles or a cream sauce or an amazing decadent steak. There's just moments where you're like, I don't want anyone to see my face. And then there's dirty good where I'm holding a burger and the juice is going down my arm and dripping onto the plate, and they haven't cleaned those fucking grills for like 10 years, 20 years. And it's grilled enough that everything's been killed, but it's just dirty. It's just dirty. So that's why I named it Heather's Dirty Goodness, because I'd always give that dirty good compliment to the chef, and they'd always think that was really funny and and then when I thought later, it sounded more like a porn site, but we had already gotten the website and branded everything. So
you have no idea. We've had a lot of inside jokes going today earlier on, dealing with some of that subject matter. So it's
Yeah.
You kind of hit the right nerve there. But
anyone wants to know about porn, you just ask Patrick.
Ask Patrick. He's the know-it-all.
He's got a collection and 3 priors.
When the hell did this take this turn? Yeah, I don't get the text at work anymore because I have to work. And I don't get. I mean, I even missed the shit that was shot at me while I was at work. Damn it!
Not going to touch that one.
Yeah, nobody say anything because that could go bad.
Just be quiet.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
I'm just enjoying the cocktail. Yeah.
And so just so you guys know, like, I don't have a distillery in Minnesota, but I will always make time to connect with people at my office. So, talk about a baby company growing up. I put 100% of my profits into the company. I also raise over 40 to 100 grand a year for nonprofits by cooking dinner at my house with my boyfriend, AK husband, because we've been together like forever. But doing a full flight, cocktails, some sort of like yummy nashi goodness. So I'm really committed to giving back to the community because I was born and raised in Rotary with my dad. But then also really committed to the company. And it's not about what can the company do for me. It's about how can we support the company for success. And I just had Mark Stutrid from Summit Brewing speak to my Rotary group because I'm the president of Burnsville Rotary. And he said, this is the house that the people made. And that's what I've been saying for years is that, I have 0 investors. I'm sole owner. When we build a distillery, it will be the distillery that the people build because they've proven the case study. They've 100% of the profits go into the company. I'm not taking a cent out of it. And it will continue that way because I don't need to make money off the company. I want to see the company be the best that it can be and hire people to take it to another level. I run a tech company and that is where I make my living. And last year was the first year that the company was self-sustaining, which is really like the first year I didn't have to pay into it to meet anything. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get fucked at tax time. But it feels good right now. So I'm flowing in it. But I know money's going somewhere. So, but it's more about that long-term vision. And what there are so many companies out there and there are so many brands. And if you really think about it too much, it can be overwhelming. So I just have to put my head down and know that I believe in like what we're doing with the community and the give back. And I believe in the products that we're making and the adherence to our pillars of quality, innovation, and experience. And if it gets built, I'll be so proud of it. And if it never gets to that level, I'm still going to be super, super proud of it. And it will be this fun business that just continues to innovate and pivot and have fun. Because what I love is the recipe making. That's the right seat for my butt. So I don't even know if I answered Gil's question. I think I rabbit holed on a soapbox. But I've been doing it for a long time, since 2013. But I come from a family of Irish and Indians and Scots. We drink like fishes. I mean, holidays start with bloodies, then mimosas, then beers, then wine, then aperitifs, and everyone held their shit. There was no crying. Nobody was drunk or falling over. Like, we were trained to like respect booze, have fun, but then like balance it with with less booze or water or whatever, so that we could last all day. Yeah.
So I have a question. Since you're, which would be great if you do get to the point where you get to build the distillery that you want, but because of the, for lack of a better term, bullshit draconian Minnesota liquor laws with the distillery, is there anyone spearheading getting that switched around to the favor of people that don't have their heads up their ass, or is that?
No, it's Minnesota. All the heads are up the asses.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that Bent Brewstillery, they've done a lot of work and a lot of lobbying to try to change laws. And he he was able to get like a brewery and a distillery. He's one of the first. And like, I don't have the time or the energy, and I will, it's almost like marketing. I will not fucking spend dollars on lobbying. That's bullshit. Let the bigger companies do it, but the bigger companies never will, because it's in their benefit to keep things the way that they are. But we're just like, we're at this point, we're like way too small to be able to impact. That's how it feels. I have zero money to give to that. The laws here are so archaic. You know, I'm super grateful that I distill in Wisconsin, but I'm now also going to be distilling in 2 other distilleries in Minnesota. So I'm spreading it kind of all out. And that will be interesting, because I'm going to get a taste of what it's like to work truly in Minnesota and distribute in Minnesota. I would love to see like you see in Oregon or Washington, where they can have these beautiful tasting rooms that are not attached to a distillery, where people can come in and they can taste. You could bottle, but at this point, you can't. I don't believe you can have a cocktail room without. You can't have a tasting room without attached distillery. And there's I don't know. Like, and someone was telling me yesterday that there's one guy in charge that just keeps shooting it down, and it's because the Democrats don't want to piss off the Teamsters, and the Republicans don't want to piss off the distributors, and so they're all bought. There's so many fucked up laws in government that there's back pockets that are lined everywhere, and there's no rules around it. You could own stock in Apple and then make laws that are advantageous for Apple and then benefit off of it. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, and I think until there's some shifts within the government, who's in control of what, I don't see it happening, or people being willing to piss off people. People being willing to understand the environment, look up and say, what's actually right for small business? Versus what's right for the person that's cutting me $100,000 check for my campaign.
Right. There's more money in it for the state than there is for that individual. The problem is that individuals, they're...
Have the distillers come together in Minnesota at all? Is there any kind of like a guild or something like that where they've
come together
to help?
Yeah, there is
for change, but
there is a distillery guild. Yep, I am. Okay. I am not a part of it. It wasn't really open to contract distillers. But you have great companies like Du Nord, and I mean all of them are in it. Secret and most of them.
I just feel like they need to lift the amount of bottles and size of bottles you can get. That's
375, and that's it. Like 1 or 2 per customer.
It's like once my friend went out to Panther, and she was just driving past. She's like, I got one while I was there, and I got it signed. Great. She goes, but I could have gotten like 10 at the liquor store. She goes, she's like, that's all they were allowed to give away. And I'm like,
the lobbying.
We think this is like all about like tourism to an extent, when we're looking at is, if you get a chance, stop at the distilleries or places like we're like having you on, stop and see you, like make it an experience. And they're like crapping on it and shutting it down. It was one of the few places that was worse than Texas, and I had a hard time believing that.
Right. So I have a hard time believing that a winery can ship me unlimited cases as long as I have different names and different birth dates. But I have to buy a 375 at a distillery. I can buy unlimited growlers. I believe it's unlimited growlers. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I need a 375 limit at a distillery. That is purely distribution lobbyists winning at that one. Now, distributors are critical for everyone, but they really work well for the big brands, and that's who's funding them.
We don't have to go down that rabbit hole either.
Too late.
We're totally good going down that one, because we've
already
we do it a lot. It's and again, it's wrong. I mean, I could make a road trip and load my car up. I could load my car up at a store. And it's ridiculous because you'd be directly supporting that small business, number one. You'd be bringing in tourism, number two. And there is no difference in buying it directly from the distillery and buying it from a liquor store, except for where somebody's getting their money. That's the only difference.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Or you can go to Wisconsin and just do whatever you want.
Nobody wants to go to Wisconsin.
I don't know, man. I like their thinking. It's pretty open and it's business friendly. So I always appreciate that. I'm a fiscally responsible, socially liberal. But I don't like. I like the freedom to make my business decisions.
Yeah.
People are more important than business.
Yes.
But I definitely value Wisconsin's freedom around the distilleries. I mean, even Tattersall here, with the rules and not getting a chance with. I know they paid a lobbyist to try to get through some things, and it didn't work. It got shut down, and now they're opening a whole facility and getting Wisconsin taxes and Wisconsin employees because Minnesota couldn't get their head out of their ass and support a fucking local business and help them expand and hire people in a pandemic. How fucked up is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's how close is Minneapolis is to Wisconsin, where it's not far to go over the border and get distribution backwards, and I'm like, that's what I would think is dangerous. I'm like, Milwaukee's close to Chicago, Madison South, but there's a whole section where there's not a huge city around in Wisconsin. With Minnesota, Minneapolis is one of the large ones, and it's right on the border, so it allows people to kind of cheat a little bit like that. So
right.
I don't know. I feel bad.
I wonder how Tattersall's future business looks like after that, because so it's almost like I don't know if this is the right analogy, but it's like dating, right? Like if you I'm gonna go try it over here. And you're like, yeah, fine, we're broken up, go try it. And then you're like, well, wow, this was great. This is amazing. We're done. And as a Minnesotan, as Minnesota, you're like, wait, come back. We want you here. Don't leave us. We just don't want to give you what you want, right? But we don't want you to leave. And so look at Medtronic that's left, put their headquarters in Ireland. I mean, there's even our fucking old governor had his money in South Dakota. We need to really look at where, how we embrace small business and how do we get people that understand small business and business into those decision-making roles within government and not these legacy government or far right or far left that create all this noise where then everyone's afraid of every direction and supports nothing.
And Christopher joined us from across the seas, but apparently he's been drinking with us tonight. He says he might shave his head later on stream. So maybe we'll have to bring you on.
Hey, I was going to say, you going to give that guy a link?
I might give him a link, but let's have one more drink, and I'll put a link out there.
Can we do a CWS in the head? And I'll send you some Crooked Water swag.
We'll see if there's a response. If I'll put it back out there, if he wants to shave a CWS in his head, we'll make it work. And if you want to do CWS on this side and MWD on this side, we'll both send you some free stuff.
I might do that.
I feel like you'd shave Brett's head first and say, "Here, we won. Can you send us some stuff?"
Red is already shaved. He has lost that. He's lost that battle. So he just shaves it.
Get rid of it.
I've warned my wife that's coming not too far down the road. So
right,
enjoy the hair while it's here because there's no comb over going over here. Once it starts fading out, it's just gone, baby.
I want to see you with a comb over so bad.
Oh no!
Yeah, I would pay for that.
Yeah. I almost see like a little.
If you get bald on top, you got to grow a ponytail, and then you got to drive a Corvette. So that's just kind of how it works.
Man, there's few things worse than the balding guy on top with the ponytail or the mullet kind of thing. That's it's gone, man. Just let it go. Just let it go.
You don't like the new Friar Tuck? You don't like that?
No.
I don't know. I think that's like half the looks in LA. And I think if you just like bust some sweet ass poison, everybody's gonna be like, that dude's a fucking stud.
I don't know. I feel like Billy Madison sitting outside of the high school with his leather jacket, blasting REO Speedwagon, and everybody's just looking at him like, who the hell are you?
Bro, right. You got to feel it, man. If you don't feel it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. As long as you got the T-tops on your car, you're good.
Right?
Speaking of car, you got a new Bronco. Or actually, I should say an old Bronco.
Yeah. You guys, and Rhett even told me right before, because we screamed in here after sushi, literally. We ran out to go get a base and then came back. He's like, oh, you're going to love this. I'm like, what? And he's like, big oil spill in the garage. I'm like, oh, fuck. I've had it for like a week. But it's going to be a restoration project. So it's a 77, 21,000 miles on it, white Bronco, everything original. Takes 8 tries to shut the door. So, you know, I have one thing I want to say, but it's not appropriate. I will get railed. But it's just not a very consensual experience right now. And so what I look forward to is getting it to a mechanic, let him butter it up, grease her up a little bit, and then it'll be like my farm truck here.
Is it a manual or automatic?
Oh, I multitask, so it's an automatic.
Okay.
I'm not smart enough for a manual.
I don't know. I was jealous. I love Broncos, so I was like, son of a bitch. And you said 21,000 miles. I'm like, you know how hard it is to find something with only 21. Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah, I got it from a joyful man named Fred in Texas. So no rust. Only probably a couple owners. But he's used to flipping cars, so he just had like a lot of fun with it and then just got bored with it and wants to get something else. But total Southern gentleman.
He saw the oil leak and wanted to get something else.
Yeah, well, this is gonna be a gong show, I can tell. When like it almost didn't start like the 2 days later, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Until it's not.
So apparently I look like a pale Mr. T, and that's okay. I'm good with that. A pale Mr. T.
A pale Mr. T. All right, dogs are going out. Sorry, guys. All right, so I want you guys to like. Wait, a pale Mr. T? I don't get that.
A white Mr. T, I believe.
You have more gold chains, because then I can visualize.
Maybe it's the small picture there. It kind of looks like you got a little bit of a mohawk.
I got it right here. Yeah. I understand it. That's fake too. I'm gonna lose this at some point. It's gonna go away. Here, I'll prove it. It's not.
Are you just gonna keep this right here? You gotta keep this little patch.
Just this, yeah. Come out like that.
Like take a little swoop.
Yeah.
Forehead beard,
like a Cupid doll.
I tell you, my one biggest regret in life, when I had a nice full head of hair, if I could go back, I would grow a big freaking mohawk. I mean, just straight up spike it up. I would do it. That was something I always wanted to do, and Dad was like, "Hell no, you're not having a mohawk." So, if I
do it anyway.
That's so.
Do it.
All you young people out there, you still got a full head of hair.
Do it.
You better do something with it while you got it.
I'm older than you.
Not always going to be there.
Just do it. Do it with what you got.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
Maybe you could get extensions.
Yeah, we're gonna start a fund. Let's get Ben a weave.
Can we do a GoFundMe?
A weave mohawk. That will be something. But I would straight up, yeah.
Cornrows in the back.
Maybe I just still need to do it anyway. Who cares?
You should totally do it.
All right, what are we dipping into next?
All right, you guys. So nobody has this one either. So we did the 2 that I sent just to you 3. Yeah. So benefits of being the show's hosts, and thank you for having me, was 1, the bitter orange liqueur that hasn't released or has just released, and then we have the Lost Lake. So I released the Lost Lake in 2014, and I used a 60-gallon barrel for just one. And last year, Oh my gosh, no. The year before, I can't, like, COVID is a lost year, so I always have to think about my dates. But like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I filled some gorgeous sherry casks. Same provider. I'm using the Macallan sherry cask provider.
Nice.
So, $600 a cask, very just gorgeous and full. And we put our bourbon in there for about 2 years. I only did 2. So this is so you got cask number 152, which has actually been sold to South Lindale Liquors here. The entire the entire cask they took. And I think they're going to get that in like May, or like, late April or early May. And we did it at cask strength. So when we launched Lost Lake, it was actually at 90 proof. And because we're only, oh God, I love that smell. We're only doing 2, like let's go cask and let's just give it all the beauty and let people, I know that we're already going after a smaller market, and that smaller market's going to appreciate it.
This is so pretty on the nose. You were just kind of commenting there, but it really is. My first impression is like candied oak. If you were to candy oak barrel, this is
right.
Wait till you have a taste.
Oh man,
it's like that creme brulee kind of nose. Like it is. It smells like dessert.
Wait, okay. Where do you get this? I know Mark was going to Minnesota. Mark, you got to go to this place.
Oh
it's
man,
only at South Lindale Liquor, and it's 115 proof is what I sent you guys because that's the cask strength. And we'll only have about 40 cases, which is about or less, so 240 bottles.
Oh my gosh! If you're in Minnesota, find this because holy smokes, that keeps going and going and
Want to
going.
say hi?
Oh.
So here's would you like to meet my lover?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Squat down, Rhett. He's
Cheers,
very tall. You get the part that matters, right? Right about there. So Rhett does all of our labels. So we met.
Really? Because you guys have awesome labels.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is something that really stands out when you're in the store and you see them. They are distinctively different than a lot of other people's. Even like this El Dorado.
Oh.
Completely different, and it is going to jump up. And look, there's sparkles.
Do you love the glitter? Is that your favorite part?
I do.
I think I just got in trouble.
So Rhett and I love working together, but then also hate working together because I know what I love and I know what I hate. I know what I love, but I don't really know how to articulate in between. So there's some labels that we've made together. There's some that he's like he made Regatta Rye without any help from me. He made El Dorado without any help from me, except I added the glitter overlay. And then Old Hell and Manley's were a major collaboration. But my favorite story with Rhett was that when we were making Mini Apple, which is that quad cask finished apple brandy, I had trashed so many of his designs, like no, which, and that he's creative, so he's high maintenance and a lot of emotion. I'm kidding. But no.
I feel like he's just gonna drink 2 glasses quick as you're talking.
Right?
You're a pain in the ass.
Oh, go ahead.
But when we'd had so many flushed down the toilets of Mini Apple that he sent me an email and he said, I am literally throwing shit at the wall. That's all he said, and he sent me a new label. And I said, oh, that's it. That's the label. It's fucking amazing. With like an apple with like headphones on it, like rocking out with like lightning bolts and a plaid background. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. But it took like almost a divorce to get to that level of design.
Here, you guys can see the sneak preview of Lost Lake.
That is sharp.
Sweet.
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
so that's the new.
Oh my
so what
God.
you guys are sipping right now, that is the label for South Lindale. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And then and it matches the whiskey. This
Yes,
is
it does.
This is I'm gonna have to set some aside. This might have to like hide out. This could be coming up for like Bourbon of the Year stuff. This is really good.
Thank you guys.
Show them that one. That one was in Vogue magazine.
Yeah, this was in Vogue magazine. This was with a partnership with a beautiful artist out of New York, Adrian Christos.
That's
about women's month.
Your bottles and your labels. They need like an art show of their own.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I'm not kidding. It's like this could be on the wall of an art museum somewhere for a little display or something.
If you ever get to the distillery, half of its art gallery of labels.
No, we make this shit fucking wallpaper, guys. Right? And we just wallpaper the fuck out of the place. But we won a few awards for design, which is pretty awesome. But we don't release any label unless I have goosebumps over it. Unless I fucking love it, we don't release it. So then we've had straight up, Rhett and I rarely yell. Rarely. But it's 90% of the time when we're making labels and it's like, fucking do what I say. And then he's like, I don't want to, and that's stupid. Fine. And then it will like rabbit hole from there. And at the end, it gets really beautiful. And we need to probably work on our process. But the end result is always...
Or not.
It sounds accurate to me. I don't know.
It's always beautiful and stunning at the end. Yeah. And, the goosebumps. Like, if I... Like, and now there's good pressure, right? We've made really beautiful labels. So how do we maintain that expectation and not phone it in and not... it took us a year to make that Lost Lake label, but then it literally happened in 48 hours because we had to apply the pressure because we had sold a barrel and fucking get off the pot and let's find the beauty. And Rhett did that was all him. He did an amazing job of bringing a really soulful, gorgeous label to that bottle. And that's what we want. We want something that just evokes something, and that's probably our art background.
So, not being an age whore here, but what is the age on this bourbon? Because it's at least 2 years, maybe. I'll have to go look up the barrel age of when we dumped it into the port or the sherry, but it's been in the sherry cask for at least 18 months. But it's at least a 2 year. Typically, right now, just the way I'm carrying my inventory, it's around a 3 year. I've got some Kentucky bourbons with 10 to 13 year age range sitting in my collection that this rivals as far as just the depth and complexity and the note. It noses like a bourbon that's 10 plus years old. Oh, and that's what I'm sitting here going, holy smokes, what? Yeah.
It's having that after having the two cocktails, the individuals that we did. And then as a side project, I did do the orange liqueur in different variations with an absinthe. But after having all of that, it still cuts through it. And that is amazing that it can still do that. And it's not cutting through it with proof, it's cutting through it with flavor. So that's really good.
Yeah,
love it. Thank you guys. And the no is for me. Sherry cask is always so I only have a couple sherry casks here. One is another female distiller, not owner, but a distiller. And that's really pretty. And that goes for like $100 a bottle. And I think these are going to market at 59 or 65, and it's one cask. So for me, there are some bourbons here that go for like $100 a bottle down to $30 a bottle. What I'm trying to do is just be really recover my cost, but then also get a little bit more profit out of just one-off to help us do other things, but then also be really fair to the consumer. I think charging $100 for that would be fucking ridiculous. It wouldn't be fair. It would be 3 times the cost of what it is to make it for me, right? Or 4 times the cost. So, all right. And I'm an open book person, you know.
So,
right.
This coming in the age of someone sourcing someone else's whiskey and everyone knows what it is, slapping a new label on it and saying it's worth $150. That's all I'm going to say. Completely different mentality, and that's why we love having you on the show.
So
you
see, folks,
easily slapped $100 on here. Sorry, Ben, go.
Yeah, no, see, folks, this is why instead of going looking for that Blanton's and wanting to pay $200 for some 6-year-old bullshit, or trying to track down some BTAC and paying $1,200 on the second market for something that's just absolute. That okay, it's great, but is it $1,200 great? No.
Yeah. It's still
this is $50-something dollars, and I've got some cream of Kentucky that's 13 years old, and this I think would just stand right up to it and kick its ass, basically. So this is absolutely amazing bourbon. And Patrick, you're right. This is going straight to the category of bourbon of the year for me already this early into this, because this is that good. Because here's what's fantastic is, okay, you've got the sherry and all going on in there, but it's not like it's dominating. It's just a pretty component to it. Mm-hmm. This is amazing. And for what you're charging for it, compared to what so many of these other people are doing, with all these allocated whiskeys and stuff, this is where it's at, people. So however you got to mule it from Minnesota or whatever you do, this is what you track down. This is what you go for. Forget the BTAC, forget the old Fitzgerald and, whatever else that people are trying to shove down your throat. This is absolutely amazing.
When you just said Old Fitzgerald, the Old Fitzgerald 13 I had they might have a little bit more dense mouthfeel, but the richness was very similar. Just what you're saying, like the density of flavors that was coming through the darker. No, I'm not pouring anymore.
So when do it.
No, this is
what would Mr. T do?
What would Mr. T do? Actually, I think he was sober, so not a good analogy.
So when Eddie Murphy thing for a second, and I had to stop myself.
When does this come out again?
So we actually will have the labels printed probably end of next week, and then we ship to Yahara. They'll bottle it, and it will probably be in South Lindale Liquors by May 1st.
Okay.
But what I love is that you guys, at the end of the day, no matter fucking what, and the bigger that they get, the cheaper that it is, because it's all about quantity of ingredients and purchase power. This bourbon costs, I think less than $25 to make my bourbon. There's at cost, right? There's, when people are charging, and I am itty bitty. I'm a freckle on bourbon's ass, right? So think about all the companies that are so much bigger, and Blanton's, and they've all have great marketing, but then you can tell when there's companies that have marketing behind them. And I'm so jealous, because it's such a beautiful in-house skill set that a lot of people who are passionate about ingredients and creation don't have that avenue to tap into and help build a brand, because building the brand is as important as the quality of what's inside that bottle. And without 50-50, it will fail, because if it's shitty, no one will ever buy it again. But if it's ugly, no one will ever buy it. But when people are selling it for, $75, $100, $200, $1,000, it's to me, that's offensive, because there's no way it costs any of them more than $25 to make, if not 20.
Right.
And so then level set, and let's have a realness on, this is truly just about collectors driving it. And the exclusivity, you're paying for exclusivity. Right. And we're all in charge of that as well.
And I hate to say it, but I think our community as reviewers on YouTube have a big responsibility in that, because we're a big echo chamber that everybody's bouncing the same thing back and forth, and we're constantly pushing the idea, hey, you need to go get this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, you need to go get this George T. Stagg or whatever it is, and everybody's reviewing the same thing and talking up the same thing, and we're just basically stirring the pot on all of it.
And then you're fucking GameStop, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You're 100% right. I mean, we absolutely believe that. When people are doing that, the same things all the time, and They're making people line up. But it's the reason I was asking was coming out because I'm thinking, okay, things will be, I don't want to say more relaxed, but things will be different. More people will get, for safety protocols, be able to get out and about more. But I know for a fact the Minnesota Timberwolves are opening up their ticket sales. So if someone wanted to go have fun and go to a Timberwolves game, they could go to a Timberwolves game about this time, go to South Lindale Liquors and go buy some, and maybe go stop at Ace also. Support your local businesses or the local businesses in Minnesota and let them know that you came from somewhere else so it can go to the distributors, and the distributors will know that you traveled and you went somewhere. And you put a little money into that local economy and let people know that you're there for the whiskey.
Right. I love that.
Well,
I think, being born and raised in Rotary, I run my companies along the 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to everyone involved? Is it beneficial to everyone involved? And does it create better friendships and partnerships? And to me, like in the IT world we do a multitude of different IT consulting services. I always tell my team, don't ever mark anyone up that you would be embarrassed to tell the margin. That's bad business when you're ashamed of it, right? Like what's fair? What's fair to the consumer? What's fair to the distributor? What's fair to my company? And when you take that approach, you're never embarrassed or have to justify what you've done. And when I was at Southern, and I love Southern, I love Soren who runs it in Minnesota. We were just too damn small to matter. But when I interviewed with them, I laid out my books and I said, here's my cost. Here's what I think is a good markup. What's your average markup, and what does that look like for the consumer? And what are other people doing, and what is fair? And I'll never forget, because Soren said, no one's ever shown us their books. No one's ever told us their cost. And who the fuck am I? I'm a newbie into this world of a super legacy world that seems like a lot of smoking mirrors. No one's ever come to the table with honesty and that we all deserve to win. Not deserve. We all earn the chance to win. I don't like the word deserve. And then how do you make it fair for the end person that wants it? So it can't be just fair to me and you, the distributor. It has to be fair to me, you, and the end consumer. Because I'd be certainly fucking embarrassed if I sourced Regatta Rye. And so, you can go look up that price. You know what I paid for it. And then I get a really high-end barrel. But if I'm selling that for $100, I'm making, I'm probably selling it for $50. It's going to market for $100 because it's always double the cost of what you sell it.
Yeah.
Well, I might be on a platform. I'm getting into it. Hands are swinging. But it's just, I don't know. I'm going to shut up. It's all about just what's fair to everybody involved.
It is. And Alex is right on the border of Minnesota, and he's waiting for it to open up now. So that's good to hear.
He's in Canada?
Yeah, he's in Canada. Awesome. So you could probably get here. I don't know if you're going to be able to get back home.
You don't want to be stuck in Minnesota. Stay in Canada until you can safely return back to the amazing Canadian side.
Minnesota's a beautiful state.
It is. I'm born and raised here. I love it, but I'm assuming he has people that love him in Minnesota or in Canada.
It's probably true. All right. Do we want to slide over to the old fashioned?
Yeah, why not? So you're going to need maybe, if you haven't finished your
other drinks,
quiet night,
finish them now.
Just slam it. Mm-hmm. Don't eat anything. And then watch the monkey dance.
Butt chug it,
might be seeing the green fairy at this point.
No, you know what? No, I mean, I was trying to be really good with ratios and such, but that was a lot of fun doing that. That orange, trying to figure out the right ratios with the orange liqueur and the absinthe. That was a good educational experience.
I think you need a little soda water with that, or some seltzer or something, and then work out the right ratio with the El Dorado and then the absinthe, and I don't know, play around with some bitters or something like that. I think this could make a freaking killer drink like that. So
Now I already started sipping this before, so I'm just gonna come back to it. I'll let you guys catch up.
You're not waking up till like noon tomorrow, are you?
Oh, I'm really good right now. I have just sipped. There have been a couple times where we were doing like batch reviews, and all of a sudden I didn't realize I was 6 or 8, 8 ounces in an hour, and that creeps up on you. It creeps up.
Sure.
That's why I had what? What do you mean? Sure.
First step to admitting that you have a problem, or no, fixing a problem is admitting you have a problem.
Wait. Then we all
Don't
have
listen
to
to
go
me.
at the same time because you were there with me.
I think it's the second step is everyone else on the Zoom says you have a problem.
Yeah, hands. Wait, I don't want anyone to comment. You guys,
Look,
and they start calling you Becky.
Gil Steiner made a comment here. You need to bring that up because
shit.
I agree. From the first time we had Heather on, it's from Facebook. She's freaking amazing.
It might not have came up on mine yet. Sorry.
Yeah, he just said this is one of the best shows you've done. Best guest.
Oh.
And I agree. Both
Yeah.
this time and the first time we had Heather on. The first time you were like a freaking life coach. I mean, some of the advice and the stuff you were giving out, it was absolutely amazing. And so that's what had me so hyped for tonight. Not only the great spirits that we're getting to experiment, but having you on and what you bring to the table here. Just not only personality, but wisdom and life experience and everything. I think that's what makes this such a fantastic show tonight.
Well, thank you guys. I had so much fun with you guys that I literally blocked out 3 hours for us to drink and have cocktails together. So thank you.
A whole 3 hours. Yes.
Well,
Wait,
I mean,
we have an hour left?
Or they time us out, but
Yeah.
I don't know if Sicky Pants is going to make it through.
What? Wait, what the hell was that?
You need to eat some food if you're going to keep up. And like if we're going to go to like 3 a.m.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you said. Maybe I misheard something. I've had too much to drink myself. So I'll let that
Patrick?
go. What
do you think, Patrick?
No, I don't think. I actually think I'm not. I'm okay at the moment.
All right, you guys. Have you poured your old fashioned? You have one job.
I have.
Fantastic. Are you sure it's not the bitter orange, Patrick?
What?
Okay, we're good.
Just ignore him.
So we're drinking the old fashioned. So this is actually what I would pre-batch when I had parties all the time. And then so I thought, well, why not just batch it and sell it? So that's kind of what we did, but we just did it very elevated. So we're using a minimum of 2-year bourbon. A lot of times it's 3-year bourbon. And I use Demerara, not simple. I partner with Angostura for their bitters to give you that traditional profile. So there's a lot of distilleries that will try to make everything. And you know what? Like it took me 3 years to bring the Negroni to market, as well as the Boulevardier, because I'm like, if I can't make it to my expectation or better, I'm not going to do it. And I know that I'm not a bitter maker. Now, have I made bitters? Absolutely. But can I make an Angostura bitter that you all would identify as a great profile in an old fashioned? No. So let's partner with Angostura. I also use some orange bitters in here from Bitter Cube, which is a Wisconsin brand, but heavy presence in Minnesota as well. A little bit of Chinar in there, but I did switch it over to a local distillery that makes an artichoke liqueur. But I use just a very small amount, and all those things just lead to that beautiful, elevated, bitter forward, spirit forward, 75 proof, elevated old fashioned, not sweet. And that's what I'm going for. I'm going for more of just that mixologist type ready to pours that are just deep in flavor and traditional, but not crazy and like making a mark on it. Like I don't feel like I need to make a mark on these. I just want to make them approachable and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to put, Dash Fire makes a beautiful lavender bitters that one of my clients comes over and he's like, Heather, I want a Manhattan with like doused of lavender bitters. Like you can use bitters to add your own nuance to it. I just want to give you a beautiful base cocktail hour cocktail to play with.
One of the things that's jumping off to me on this is probably about a year ago, I went through doing some barrel-aged cocktails. And one of the things I did was I aged cola syrup in a mini barrel and then bottled the cola syrup, which was amazing by itself, and then refilled that with like old-fashioned and Manhattan mixes. And so that cola syrup added this kind of sweet. But anyway, I'm getting a note on here on the nose that reminds me of that cola syrup that came from out of the barrel. And I'm finding that just amazing. Love that. So.
Nathan, it is not a brandy Wisconsin old fashioned. I'm sorry.
No, and I'm like, you can definitely tell that on there. Like you said, when it's not sweet, I'm like, no, it is not sweet. Like a Wisconsin.
It's fucking 75 proof, so it's ballsy and big, and bitter forward. But I mean, I think it's meant to dilute over water, right? Like, oh my God, I was at a restaurant and there was two guys next to me and they ordered this beautiful. It's called the. You guys, one of my favorite movies, Anchorman. Ron Burgundy. It's called the Ron Burgundy.
I thought he ordered Sex Panther or something. I didn't know.
Actually, the drink could have been called Sex Panther because it's smoked. But it was called the Ron Burgundy. And these guys, they were laughing and they were right next to me. And I'm like, oh, what a fun experience for them. And they grabbed it and he just went, woof. And I just went, stop! And it was like slow motion and he'd already done it. And I'm like, you just drank so much booze. And I go, there's so much alcohol in that. Because he was like in his like mid-20s, late 20s. And I go, can I buy you another one? And can you sip it? And I didn't ask for my alcohol. But it was like, slow down. And this is supposed to be a sipper. This is not a shot. Let it dilute over water. Because that dilution, that brings the beauty, right? Like a lot of people would never love this straight out of the bottle. There are some people that would love it in the freezer. Actually, I've never tried freezing this. I don't know if it would. But a lot of people love this coming out of the fridge, put in a coupe glass. But for others, it's way too intense. Wait, I got my dog chewing on something. Hold on.
Okay. Saw the concern happen real quick.
Right, so I'm going to take the moment and go grab some extra ice for this because I really want to taste this one.
I just threw a cube on mine after having it neat. Both great.
Yeah.
Both great.
All right, I'll be back in a second.
And I'd say as far as comparing it to Wisconsin Old Fashioned, it's not as cherry-ish. It's a little more orange. That's a good way to describe it, flavor profile wise.
There and over there and whatever's in his mouth. Sorry, the dog was eating a candle. He's 10 months old. He is the dumbest boy dog we've ever had. Just runs in circles.
That sounds like a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
I will have to tell you, because my youngest, my 18-year-old daughter, who the last time you were on, she was just like, man, Heather's so cool. And she told all of her friends to watch the show because and she's like, it's woman-owned business, and they were all texting her back saying girl power and all this other stuff. Well, anyway, she just said she did tell her friends to watch tonight. They don't drink.
I love that.
Maybe they don't. But most
aren't
of them
you the one who
don't.
put a camera in his basement?
I've got a camera pointing at my whiskey, but my daughter does not. She thinks alcohol and tobacco are disgusting. But anyway, her and her friends, she told them all to watch it because again, they think you're really cool. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you. And like, I love that. So I grew up not having a lot of girlfriends. I had all guy friends. And only when I came into the world of business did I find a group of women business owners called NABO. I actually end up being the board president for that for like 3 years locally. That there are like so many amazing women doing so many amazing things. And it's all about surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you, that are more driven than you, that are living the life that you want, and then also understand what our wants and what our needs, right? There's a beauty in being content with your life, and what's important, and it's not things. It's for sure not things. But then understanding, do you want to create a life that allows you these experiences, right, with the people that you love? And to me, like, I work so hard in my tech business and this business and other things and giving back to the community. The most thing I value is freedom. Now, money allows freedom to an extent, so I work hard to be able to make those choices that, my team is running so well and supports me so well and allows the company to be so successful that I can be the president of Rotary Club in Burnsville. I can be on the board of the Animal Humane Society. So, setting up these organizations allow me to make sure that I'm feeding what's important, and constantly assessing that the want and the need. That's an American fight in the head.
Mm-hmm. But you're also, like you said, you balance your business with what is right for you and what is you're basically, when you're doing stuff, you're looking at a more of a community aspect as you do it. And we know that there's not enough of that going on. I mean, people will say that, but it seems like in all your businesses, you are trying to create a better community for what you're doing. So
that goes back to Rotary, and I've mentored several clients' children, and it's a huge compliment. Like, Heather, I really appreciate who you are. Will you talk to my son or daughter and inspire them? And you guys, I was kind of a douchebag. Like, I didn't know it was funny to have 20, or maybe not 20, but 10 W-2s a year. I had so many jobs. I was so flaky throughout college. And then all of a sudden, my senior year, everything clicked. My parents were very clear, you're on your own. And then this high drive kicked in. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. That might be the old fashioned. But I've done some mentoring, and I really love it. I love to give insight on kind of how to find your core, how to find your passion. And when they ask me, how were you raised? I say the biggest thing my family ever gave me was my dad gave me 8 hours every Saturday. I remember running out of the house at about 8 or 10 years old because my mom was insane. And I knew she was going to make me clean the house all day, and it would never be right. And, I just needed to get out. And my dad would run errands every Saturday. So I remember running. I remember that day. I remember the weather. I remember the moment. It was so pivotal. And I said, can I come with you? And he said, well, of course. And then every Saturday from 8 or 10 years old until I went to college, we hung out. And that was my foundation of my morals and ethics. That's where that's where I started to be born into Rotary. That's where I started to be born to Armful of Love and giving back. And Saturday morning at 7 a.m. going buying presents for family and wrapping them and having donuts with guys that are 30 years older than me, and seeing the camaraderie and the passion and the commitment to community, and meeting people that for the first time in my life truly cared more about people than themselves or their agenda, which I think is a really beautiful thing. And and that time, that riding in the car with my dad, we went to the liquor store. We went to the dry cleaners. We went to the grocery store. We got the car washed. We went to breakfast. We probably went to the bookstore because I read a book a night, and I probably used way too much of their budget for books. Maybe we went to the mall to walk around a little bit, got gas, so there's 8 errands. We were gone for 8 hours because mom was crazy. But that was my foundation of all these little experiences and coaching that my dad gave me in those 8 hours was unbelievable. It was transformational. And so I tell the fathers that want to understand how to impact their daughters, give them time, because nobody really does that anymore, because it's really fucking hard. You have to prioritize it, and it has to be real. So schedule it and be present, and you'll be creating the most impactful mentor for them that they will hold everybody to, and they will want someone like you or better.
Oh, that is a tremendous lesson that I hope more people could get in their lives, where they don't, or they have people like you, or take it in, absorb it. Sometimes we're pig-headed assholes, and we do not take in what we're supposed to from people. What?
No, I mean, no, it's true. I mean, 100% true. It's just, it's a lot of the time. Trust me.
Yeah, and you have to take in stuff from people and be willing to learn. And there's not enough of people willing to do that as well at this point. Everyone always thinks that they're a genius. And I think a lot of people need a minimal, it sounds bad, but a minimal amount of humbling to realize where everyone is in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Anyone who thinks that they know it all, they don't. I mean, shit, I was married for damn near 25 years and I have 3 adult kids. I don't know shit. And I mean, you really don't. I mean, you think you have some things figured out, but you really don't. And everything changes, and you just have to be fluid with it and understand how to deal with it and live in the moment. I mean, that's the whole thing. You live in it, and you don't. It's not worth sweating things. Well, but you live in the moment. You spend the time that you can with people, and you make the impressions that you can.
There's an intentionality about it all, and that's what I've father of 4, and by gosh, I do not have it figured out by any means. But what you talked about, Heather, with your dad, that for me was my grandfather. Spend all day. I mean, on the weekends, the summers, I was there. He was a firefighter, but he also was a boat mechanic. And so I would work with him in the summers on boat motors and different things like that. And we hunted, we fished, we just spent time together. And he was the true definition of unconditional love. I mean, he just absolutely loved me and accepted me. And he poured into my life like nobody else ever did. And I find that with my own kids, and it can be difficult at times because there's all these demands of life that pull you in different directions. But then there's these moments where you just stop and you go, you know what? I'm just spending time with you today. Okay, boys, come with me. We're going to change the oil in the car. You're climbing under here with me, and I'm going to show you what tools to use. I'm going to show you how to do this. And you're just with me. And hey, I'm going to the store. Why don't you come with me? And let's have a talk on the way. And you just have to find these moments where you can be intentional, and that and you have to be intentional about recognizing those moments and those times.
I think someone in the chat mentioned something. In the chat mentioned it also, is that it's an honest moment. Yeah, it doesn't feel fake. It's an honest moment that you're in when you're doing that.
And even as we don't all know what we're doing, but you always know more and have more experience than your children. So then always understand, even if you feel like you have nothing to offer, you truly do, because you've lived so much more and you can find those commonalities. But it's taking the time to slow down and consciously connect, and make that time to connect. Put away the phone, put away the distractions. And for our world, we eat dinner together every time the kids are here, because Red has 2 kids, 16 and 20, or 16 and 18, and never is there a phone offered. I would rather, I'll sit and stare at the fucking wall before I allow a phone or an iPad at our table, because it's going to force us to find some sort of banter or conversation, or roses and thorns or something, because it's really easy to check out. Mm-hmm. But don't underestimate on how much value and intelligence and insight and mentoring is within you, just even from living life. That I took Sydney out on a car ride, and there was things that came out of that was I had no idea was in her head, and I shared things with her that was very personal, that I had gone through or in my situation, and just that car ride, just like what my dad did with me. She was like, this is going to really like help me. I didn't ask her. She just volunteered. This is really going to help me. Like what we've talked about already is going to make me process and be a better friend and do this. And I'm like, especially driving when you don't have to look at people.
Yes.
I've had a lot of sex talks while driving because it's so awkward. But like sometimes just driving around and leaving the door open for conversation and weird conversation or singing together to music or whatever. Like that's where the moments happen. I remember when my dad and I were really little, I picked up my glasses from the ophthalmologist and they gave me 2 lenses, which didn't make sense, 2 frames. And I looked at my dad because I was a little shit. And I was like, score, like free frames. And my dad was like, not free frames. That actually cost them money to give that, that actually cost the business money. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I was really young. And he's like, well, is that fair? Is that fair? Back to that Rotarian Foundation. Is that fair to everybody involved? Is that fair to I'm like, oh. Yeah, no, it's not. Now, like I will always remember that example of just that little course correction of, no, I didn't score something free. I actually took advantage of I was about to take advantage of a business screwing up. And what was the right thing to do?
Right. Yeah. You mentioned the road trip, and my youngest again, she was on spring break last week, and clearly we're not traveling anywhere, or going anywhere, but she wanted to go eat at this place, which is 2.5 hours away. And so that's what you want to do for spring break. So we got up and I was really looking forward to it. We got up in the morning, we left, we drove 2.5 hours to go eat at this restaurant.
That's awesome.
But it was great. I mean, again, it's one of those times where I'm like, yes, I will take the day off work. I will drive down there, and it was fun. It was another experience. And it's time you can't replicate. It's time you can't manufacture. You do it, and you have to, because it's something we're both going to remember. I mean, I don't think I'll ever forget it, but it's something that, again, she wanted to do, and it was meaningful, and the whole thing about it was meaningful. It's just absorbing all that time that you can with somebody. Yeah, it was fun.
Time is everything. It's more important than stuff. It's more important than video games. And I think it's one thing that's really forgotten to give.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think it's everything, because that's the biggest responses I've gotten from my kids is when I've taken the time to just spend it with them, whether it's playing Barbies with my daughter or, just doing whatever. And all of a sudden I get this.
Does she have a mohawk?
No, she doesn't. But
not yet.
Ken has one.
She's the type of kid that would, if I probably prodded her a little bit. She's wild, but it's those moments where you spend time with them, and you all of a sudden I get this random hug and kiss and whatever. And when they talk about, Dad, I remember when you spent time with me with this, and I think about myself growing up, like 99% of my birthdays, I don't remember what presents I got. I don't remember what the things I was given, but I remember the specific moments and the time that my dad or my grandfather or whoever spent with me. And I think, and I'm learning it's the same thing for them. Like I can buy them a birthday present, and 2 weeks later, they've forgotten what the heck that was. But if I take a whole day and go take them to the park and go do whatever, they're talking about that 2 years, 3 years, 6 years later, and it's something. Yeah. It is, and that's what life boils down to, really.
Right.
All right. We've had you on here for almost 2.5 hours.
We're almost halfway there.
But yeah.
Cocktail.
But before we let you go, I do have a question. This is totally left turning it, and you don't have to answer, but why do you believe velour jumpsuits are making a comeback?
If I didn't think I was going to get judged, I would have fucking worn one on this. I wore my first one yesterday, and the compliments paid for itself in a seafoam green. It was fantastic. So I happened to, what was I doing? I was waiting for a happy hour to start with a client. So I stopped at Nordstrom's or the mall in Ridgedale. Doesn't matter. Walked into Victoria's Secret and saw a rack of velour suits.
Come back.
And, you know, I ordered a velour jumpsuit this fall, but then like my ass looked like it was sagging because it was too big and it wasn't fitted. So it was $300. So I returned it. But I've been on the hunt for a sexy velour outfit because I'm 70 and from Las Vegas. I got in there and I couldn't try anything on. So I grabbed like every color and I actually have more coming on Monday because I think I grabbed too big a size. But holy shit, man, nothing feels better than a velour jogger. Like you just touch well, I'm not going to do this, but maybe you just touch yourself, like everything, like you feel like you're wearing a pillow. And it's like old school gangster. The only thing I'm missing is some gold chains, and maybe I'll add that, maybe I won't. I wore a wife beater underneath it and it looks badass. I have it in seafoam, I have it in plum, and I have white being delivered on Monday. I will keep you in tune. Follow me on Facebook. I join anyone. Just don't be a creeper and ask me if I want to smash at 9 a.m. on a Thursday. Because I will unfollow you.
I have
Story.
a Chuck Taylor jacket upstairs, and I was tempted to go get it and just be like rubbing it all night as you're doing the interview.
It is. I mean, Victoria's Secret. They're just launching it, and it's so sexy because it's like you guys. It's just awesome. I know you can't
Sign
wear
me
it.
up.
I'm so sorry.
I'm going to Victoria's Secret tomorrow.
You buy it for your wife. I'm not kidding. Buy it for your wife, and it's only $100 for the entire suit. So the top is $50, the bottom is $50, and that is the cheapest I found anywhere. And to be like super fitted and like sporty, because it's got like the tight. Oh my god, this is going way too into it. But it's like the tight ankle bottom. Like it's not like a wide leg. It's like a jogger.
Sold.
I'm bringing it back, man. So I'm going to be my Bronco with all my joggers, and everyone's going to think I'm 70 from behind, and then I'm going to turn around, and they're going to be like, she's young.
Oh, man. You need a velour spare tire cover for the Bronco.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Is that an option?
My God.
I'm going to Google it because I'm ordering that. I'm not kidding. That would be fucking amazing. And I know so many women that sew. I'm going to get that made.
And the velour seat covers. Because,
oh man, you'll never get out of the Bronco.
Yeah, I feel like that's swamp ass all over it.
Yeah, but it's Minnesota.
It's like a biker with their fur seats. Nobody wants that.
You don't know swamp ass till July in South Carolina.
That's right. Yeah,
the humidity and the heat.
You get some real humidity.
Oh my gosh, your car's been sitting out in the parking lot all day, and you sit down in those leather seats, and
yes.
Oh my gosh,
you got to take a shower because you walked from your car to your building.
Yeah, basically.
I've been in 120 Arizona heat.
But that's dry.
It's really it is different.
Take that 120 degree heat.
Oh,
and then crank the humidity up to 100%.
My hair would be so curly. That would be amazing.
Yes. That's like I went from here and it's 85 degrees, but it's 95% humidity, and you feel like you're melting when you walk outside. And I flew to Portland, and it was 110 degrees, but the humidity was like 30%. I'm like, oh, this feels great. What's the problem? And they're like, oh, it's 110 degrees. I'm like, but you don't have humidity. So what's the problem?
Yeah,
come to South Carolina. Oh my gosh, the humidity.
But you guys have to grow like amazing tomatoes because it's all about the humidity.
I will say we do grow some freaking amazing tomatoes here.
Yeah. That's what matters. Come on, it's not like you have this long hair to deal with, and it's like you guys get to get up and go.
Yeah, but the swamp ass. Oh, you do. You step outside. Come June, July, you step outside and you just feel like you can't breathe. You just melt. The humidity is it's like walking into a wall. It's not just you step out and you feel heat. You walk into a wall of heat that just batters you, and it's brutal.
Yeah, you're not selling it.
Yeah, you're not making it fun to go down.
No.
You're like, why don't you come down and fall? Is what Ben just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall and winter are great. I guess maybe that's why I'm such a fan of cold weather. I'm tired of the heat and humidity here, but
Yeah, you don't want to deal with the snow removal.
No.
That's a whole different issue.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Heather, for coming on. We have had a ton of cocktails. And
3 at least.
3? Oh.
3.
Oh. I may have drank a few.
3, 7, 9, whatever
Potato,
it is.
potato.
If you took a picture of this table in front of me, I think there's more glasses than 3 spread across.
Well,
There
3
was-
cocktails, but we went through about 7 or 8 different.
Yeah, we went through. Well, hey, you guys,
So,
let me Vanna White this.
there you go.
We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 8 sippers. Now the people at home had 6. No, 5.
5. Yeah.
5. Oh, and we didn't try the Boulevardier. That just brought that out for fun. So 8 sippers.
Still, it was good.
Yeah, not bad for a Friday.
Not too bad.
And all good. And that's not sucking up in any way. They're all
Yeah.
very good.
Keel
Fantastic.
thinks you should be a once a month regular life lessons, spirit
I like Gil
lessons, and
because I
life
wasn't
lessons.
sure because he's like, "You're great?" Question mark. How long have you been doing this? Period.
You should have ended that with "You're the best."
Okay. I love you, Gil. No, thank you. This is you guys. I'll do this as much as you want me to. It's super fun. I came in half in the bag with a martini, so thanks for your kindness and guiding me through to sobriety to then find the other end again with my own spirits. It's always a fun journey.
No problem having you on once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff coming up, this coming Monday we have Scott Blackwell from Highwire Distilling coming on. We'll be talking with him at our usual time on Monday, 8 o'clock. We'll be discussing some samples. I think Ben and Mike got, and some other stuff that's all going on there. So that'll be another fun show. Stop on Monday for regular. But you have another whole sample set. So
there's tasting kit number 1, mofos.
yeah. So maybe we'll have to do this again with tasting kit number 1.
Yeah.
It is a thought. So yeah, because and I'm at the point where we could make an entire, if we want to do another night where we just talk cocktails and we have to get glitter and stuff, I'll do it.
Oh,
I will buy glitter for this.
you guys, don't.
I will look
fuck
like
with
a
me.
stripper.
Don't fuck with me. Wait.
Look,
What?
why do we even? Why do we even? I mean,
Right.
Patrick, why do we even? Why does this even be a thought? It just should be done. We're going to sample kit number 1. That's the next thing we're doing. Let's just
At a
make
strip
it happen. Another show, another giveaway. Hey, or however we did this. Look, people, you want to get involved.
We'll do something like this again, and
Wait.
people can have a chance to drink at home again.
Yeah.
Should we ask? Can we ask a question that someone could answer, and then I'll send them a hat or a shirt?
Sure. I don't think.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
What, you come up with the question. You're the one giving stuff away. I feel.
What is the name of the cooperage that I partnered with for Old Hell?
Ooh. See if anyone was listening out there can remember. You're gonna get free swag. I have my hat upstairs.
Even harder is that I have to remember because they changed their name. But if you remember either name, I'll award it. Is it Ghost Town?
Well,
it takes a minute for it to.
It takes a little bit longer for it to catch up on my screen than it does on YouTube or on Facebook, just because it's pulling from both places. So sometimes I'm a little bit behind.
Oh my gosh.
that
was
2
hours ago. Yeah. Catch up, Renata.
Yeah.
Renita.
She is the Baroness of Texas whiskey.
Yes, she is.
Apologize for the blunder. It's hard for me to see because all the writing is so small.
You need bifocals.
That was 5 bottles ago. Near vision.
All right. So apparently birds of a feather flock together. I wonder if anyone on this panel knows.
No, I don't. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't right now.
All right, that was too difficult.
No, it wasn't. I should have.
It wasn't Black Swan, was it?
Actually, I think I missed that conversation because I went to get ice and I came back and
making
y'all
shit up.
Oh yeah, whatever. You know what?
Okay.
Yeah, sit on it. All right. So
rewind it. Go watch.
Here's the next question. I want you to in the chat box to say what state am I from, and what state do I distill in, and then you get to pick whether you want a shirt or a hat, and then you can send it to Patrick or whoever, wherever it happens, and you send me address and size and whatever.
That's actually pretty easy. I hope someone takes this up because that's, I think, well, I know that's cheating.
The state I live in and the state that I distill in.
There you go. Dave.
Did someone get it?
It was Dave. Looks like he was the very first on here. Does that look like everyone else's YouTube?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, just the way it came up here.
Yeah, I'm 100 years old. I can't see anything.
Both Dave and his wife, so they'll have to duke it out.
Oh!
And actually, I think they met you at the Bourbon Stewards thing that you did when you originally took that. When I was talking to Dave.
In Kentucky or in Wisconsin?
I think it was Kentucky.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
what a small world.
So I got Dave's info anyways. I'll get that over to you.
All right, send it over to me, and then I just want whether they want a hat or a t-shirt, and if a t-shirt, what size?
Good. And you should be happy because I when we were at Distill America, I think I bought swag off you that day. I don't even know if it was supposed to be for sale, but I just bought a hat off you.
You guys, I was like a drug dealer because I was not making any money off my fucking drugs. But what could I sell? And that was like shirts, hats. And then I had all these display things, and these guys came over that were annihilated. And they're like, we want like your display. And I'm like, you want my display? Because I had like a paddle with all, I should put it on my website because I have them. I just haven't had time to put it up. For like a year, I haven't had time to put it up. And they're like, yeah, we want your paddle. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'll sell it to you. It's this price. And he's like, I'll Venmo you. And he's like, you know, man, we're going to go party and we're going to go out to clubs. Can I just give you all my shit? And can you like mail it to me in he was like in like Michigan. It was not the same state. So they gave me all their shopping shit, and I went home to Minnesota and I put everything in a box, and out of goodwill, thank God I'm not an asshole, but they gave me everything plus like $400 worth of anything I could have sold, and I shipped it to them. So that I love Distilled America. It is a shit show. It is, but then there's so many beautiful. It's like it's one of the only events where they have really beautiful products. So you have your big players, your big source stuff, and that's fine because they it's fine. But you have like so many people that come in that are making like, that's where I found my craft artichoke liqueur. That's where I found a couple other women-owned distillers or women distilleries. That's where I found just a couple other folks to like connect with and learn, like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Let's powwow. Mm-hmm. That Distilled America is fucking amazing. And the fact that actually happened right before COVID hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So grateful. Like that should not have happened. And the fact that we all came out of that okay, and that it wasn't more serious than it was at that time for us was very lucky. But it's one of my favorite events. I don't travel for a lot just because I can't, but I will always travel for that event.
Yeah, my wife reminded me of that, like, right as it was like lockdown. It was like, you know where you were 2 weeks ago? I'm like, I would have been so pissed if they canceled that.
Like, you're probably contaminated. Like, you probably had antibodies since like March 2020. Oh, you guys, well, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. I'm here anytime you guys call. Thank you for everyone that's logged in to learn and to be kind and explore and purchase. For those that purchased our tasting kits, thank you. It's just super fun and humbling to be a part of it and have really intelligent conversations around business and spirit.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and being able to share everything that you did, because we just want people to be able to taste things that you're not able to get around you. That you said the unique things that if you're going to travel to get something that are worth it.
Yeah.
And the Lost Lake prize. I'm sorry, that was the prize tonight. I'm just going to tell you that. A+.
You have to draw for Old Crow before you sign on.
Oh crap!
Yeah, come on, man. Come on. God. 1972 older Old Crow sample that you'll get a bottle of, and you get to try it with us when we open that. So
yeah. All right, here we're going back up. All right, I'm not going back to the beginning. Everyone better say hi again, because that was fucking 3 hours ago. But you were like 2 seconds later. I'm like, we'll give away some Old Crow. Everyone say hi, and then I'll write it down, and we'll go from there. And then he popped on. I'm like, oh no, whatever, we're gone. On with the show.
Peace out. All right, make sure you save your comments, because I can't see anything.
It will show up on YouTube. And on Facebook when it plays. Yeah, it'll be like a whole section of live comments on the side when they pop up as you're watching it.
Perfect. I'm YouTube challenged, so thanks. I actually don't want to see myself ever on fucking video. I just want to read the comments. Because it's uncomfortable to have to
I guess you could separate it from the screen and just have the comments going.
That's what I will do. I don't ever need to see myself on video. Well.
All right, let's see. All right, give me 1 second. Yeah, I know. Pick a number between.
I'm so close to taking my earrings out.
Pick a number between 1 and 12.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take a picture too.
The answer is 5.
5.
Who do we have?
It's number 5. That one is, sorry, come on back here. That one is actually going to Ice House.
Ice House, come on down. You're the next contestant on Old Crow.
Yeah.
Even Juniper is excited.
She should be. So Ice House, you know our emails. Get us an address, and we'll get that sent out to you so you can do some tasting with us that night.
Yeah.
So. And on that note, thank you everyone for coming on. It was awesome having you stay on and talk with us this long. I think we can keep going, but you are coming up on having spent some time with the hubby. We don't want to get in trouble for that.
You know what? Don't blame cutting me off on my life. Okay, just own it. Say you feel like a bag of dicks, and I need to close it down.
I can go.
I can keep drinking and talking. And my hubby doesn't give a fuck about me. He's upstairs watching hockey, I'm sure. So let's just be clear on my priorities.
Patrick, are you wimping out on us here?
I have to get up in the morning and go to work. There was a reason we started earlier this evening.
I have 4 kids. What's your problem?
You're not working tomorrow,
right? I can't believe you're even here.
Look, they'll be up at like 6 o'clock.
I was sick the last 2 days, and I'm drinking just fine tonight. So quiet.
But you're not sick now, and that's the point.
Well, there you go.
So just admit you're a pansy and close it down.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a pansy.
We're starting as hard as we began, or we're ending as hard as we started.
Yeah, that's right.
That's okay.
Tomorrow is my one day that I could sleep in, and so I don't care.
Oh God, I'm sleeping in so hard tomorrow. I'm probably going to drink a half a bottle of wine after we're done with this. I'm so ready to unwind.
If I get to make it to 7, that's like sleeping in.
That's basically what it turns out to, yeah.
How old are your kids?
5. The youngest is 6. The oldest is 14.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. 6 is, I've been there.
Yeah, they're up at the butt crack of dawn and like, we're ready to go, Dad. Come on.
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Like poking you in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Just grabbing your eyelid, letting it snap.
Teach them to make the espresso, because you're like, get up in the morning, get ready, make the espresso, get the eggs going, and then you can wake me up.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
That's fair. We actually taught Sydney around, I want to say 10 years old, to start making bacon and eggs. And we would wake up and she would start making it. Like, you find things to identify over. And if cooking was one for me and she wanted to then relate, and Rhett and I looked at each other and we're like, this is It's fucking amazing. Like, everyone, like, nobody move until you smell bacon, and then we'll slowly get up.
I have one kid that's really into cooking, but he's at the age now where it's like sleeping in is the thing. So
Yeah, you've lost him, but he'll come back in his 20s.
Hopefully he's out of the house by then, but
no, like not physically back, just mentally back.
Yeah, I know. That does no good for me every morning when he's out of the house.
All right, I am gonna shut this down.
You're gonna shut it down.
I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna do it right now. So
Pansy.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, that's right. And on Monday night when we're done with our stream, we're going on Whiskey Crusaders. So all you shit talkers here in the side chat can talk about not drinking. That's the show I drank. I drank 18 different whiskeys and ate that pound of bacon. So we're gonna see how well they stand up on the show after our show. We did that. We did that one other time, and that was after the gin stream, and we were pretty amped up by the time we got on the show.
We were tore the F up by the time we got done with that.
Yes.
So
I love that. You guys are awesome.
So make sure you stop out. We will keep everyone updated when we're going to be doing the sample kit number 1, so that you guys can all have a chance to try like you did this time, because it was a fun evening and we want to do more stuff like this. And that was actually the intent of the show originally, was to do more tastings like this as we're going through things, so people can get to experience themselves rather than just hear about great things from us. They can actually get it in their hands, and more people can start talking about the great whiskey that we're having. So
I love that, you guys. Thanks for all that you do.
Awesome.
You're welcome. And the cocktails were great. I mean, they really truly were. They were delicious.
Everything was fantastic.
Thank you, guys. Well, I appreciate that you enjoyed the gin shot. And that you, I don't know I know that the mezcal was a winner, but then I think we shot that down to then the old fashioned. I don't know. I can't even keep count.
It was honestly all incredible, but seriously, this Lost Lake, that's going in the vault as far as this is the stuff I set aside that's going to be whiskey contenders.
Is that what you got a 50 mil of it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh. You guys should have gotten a 200 mil of that.
Oh. Well, I'm still happy. So
we're being stingy.
I've got enough here. I can review it, and
that's desperation mode.
Set it aside for the end of the year for my little competition of whiskey of the year type stuff. So
I'll pull you guys aside when we bottle it. I'll sift off some 200 mils and send them to you guys.
Okay, that would be outstanding.
But it won't be labeled because we're not doing 200 mil. So you won't get a legit label. It'll look like Renegade side hustle bathtub whiskey.
Sounds perfect.
We're down. Yeah.
I'll find it.
Excellent.
All right. Love you guys.
All right. Everyone have a good night, and we'll see you guys on Monday night. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.